Ok, welcome back to the 2024 Talking Nerds. Let's go.
Here we are.
That's right.
We've made it.
Yes, we are officially back. We were supposed to be back last week. We had a little blunder. I had a little blunder. It was a big blunder, actually. Hey. Yeah, so if you didn't know, Gomi Bear was on the podcast last week.
Yeah,
but you'd never know. So thanks, Gummy Bear, for wasting 2.5 hours of your time. We appreciate you.
to not be heard.
Yeah.
Liar!
So we're gonna kind of recap essentially like we're doing it all over again. So Happy New Year, everybody. Merry Christmas, and it's already halfway through January. What do we do over Christmas, guys? I saw a lot of movies. Actually, well, let's start with this. Tyler and I both saw Beekeeper last week. We gave our quick review on Instagram. But let's give our kind of bigger review. Might as well just talk about it now.
Yeah.
Best ways I could spend with you guys. Thanks, buddy. It was a pretty middle of the road, mediocre action movie. I'd say not one of Jason Statham's best, but he was definitely the best part of the movie.
For sure.
And by looking at the trailer, you probably wouldn't think much as far as there can't be much wokeness in this. Oh, they fit it in there somehow. There was a lot of intersectional feminism. The main female lead was pretty insufferable. They managed to take the most serious parts of the movies and then turn them into jokes half a second later. They followed the Marvel humor method. And the ending was probably the most disappointing part of it. They built it up to be this big thing, and then last minute they just switched, took a major turn, I should say. It was, we gave it 2.5 stars out of 5. And you can see our little reviews on Letterboxd. But it not really worth seeing. There's not much really to say about it other than it was kind of had some feminism stuff in it. And if you just want to watch a popcorn movie with Jason Statham, you might enjoy it. But what do you think, Bluey?
I think that Jason Statham was the best part of the movie. And he's kind of, the worst parts of it are that it's the same old cookie dry action movie. It's unoriginal. It's not.
It was a ripoff of John Wick.
Basically a ripoff John Wick with less cars hitting him.
Yes,
but it did
a
happen.
little more realistic than John Wick.
It did happen though. In the gas station, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was sweet. Do you know what that reminded me of? Actually,
storyline than John Wick?
Yeah, I've thought about it a little bit. That reminded me of the scene from Zookeeper when they're throwing gas everywhere at each other, and then somebody lights a match and then everybody dies.
So unoriginal, but I'd say it did a good job of like getting you through the story. Not a lot of fluff. Kept it moving, but there was like interruptions throughout the story when the main FBI chick came on. It just kind of like disrupted the whole flow almost every time she was on screen, in my opinion. And I think you share that opinion, Biggie, but that's how I feel about it. So yeah, 2.5 stars. I feel like that's pretty, middle of the road. You're not going to get anything better than, like, you're not going to get better with what you did,
We were pleasantly surprised that Josh Hutcherson was actually a decent villain.
Yeah, Josh Hutcherson, he was a mix of Hunter Biden and Logan Paul.
Pretty much, yeah.
So if you're into that kind of stuff,
little white stuff right here that the whole time.
Yes,
actually, yeah. in
100%.
U.S. government
crack,
property,
but
actually too.
No crack pipe, but
I didn't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the Hunter Biden specialty. So
I will say it was funny. It was funny just watching him whip out a vape and just
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
so like just definitely like not taking himself seriously, and it was kind
yeah.
of funny. Not gonna lie,
It was kind of
like it
funny.
didn't
Yeah,
bother me because it was just funny. Like it was actually one of the funnier parts of the movie that he was like
yeah.
fitting into this stereotype so well.
Yeah.
And he's also
There
a
were
tech
some.
bro.
Yes. Yeah. There were some action moments that I found boring because they're just stereotypes where like there'll be the main character fighting a crowd of guys and the guys in the background are like they're not sure what to do, or they're like falling over randomly. It's like he's really realistically everybody would be tackling the guy at the same time.
They're
But
like, I
in
might shoot you. I might shoot you.
yeah,
You
they're
got
like,
my gun. Oh.
then they get it knocked out of their hand,
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that. There was a moment where he literally walks into a group of what were they? FBI. I guess they were FBI.
I think they're FBI. Yeah.
SWAT team, and they just let him right in. They're like, "Oh, who are you?" It's like, no, they would be like, "Oh, hold up, sir. This is a crime scene. Please back away."
Like he starts
We
talking like, "Oh
literally
yeah,
all
like
have
you
big
should not
guns,
let him
like-
in through the back door. Like check the elevators." And they're like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just like the janitor or something." They're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that's the guy they're looking for.
Right.
And then he
right.
continues to beat up 12 of them that are in that circle.
Yes. So pretty unrealistic, but it's Jason Statham. The whole beekeeper thing, I actually will spoil this because it is in the trailer. So I'm not really spoiling, but we should get a little spoiler thing at the bottom
Okay.
in the future. But basically he's part of this secret organization called the Beekeepers, which are a society, a group of assassins, I guess, who do something that the law can't do. So they're outside of the law. When all else fails, you send the beekeepers in. They protect the hive. There's a lot of bee puns in this movie. But he took it so far. He was a retired beekeeper, and he literally kept bees, and he made a lot of bee puns. And it was like, are all the beekeepers real beekeepers after they retire from being a beekeeper, or is it just happened he liked bees?
And he
I don't
happens
know.
to run into the active beekeeper. So it sounds like there's only one beekeeper per
At a
like
time,
state or like
maybe.
country, maybe. I don't know. We don't know.
We
But
don't really know. They didn't build the lore really at all. So
yeah, there was one other beekeeper that got called in to exterminate him, and obviously she lost. But she
she
was
looked like
like,
she was
yeah,
Madonna
Matrix.
from the 80s. Like it was
Yeah,
weird.
like long, like purple disco
Spiky
trench
hair.
coat, spiky hair with braids.
Yeah.
I thought, right, long braids.
Yeah, she had a mullet. She had a mullet.
Yeah. And
It was
then
crazy.
like multicolored
Really,
fingernails, like the whole like 80s
yeah.
disco like going on.
And she
like color
she
pop
was
Matrix.
not very coordinated.
No, she brought a minigun to a gas station. If that
yes,
if that tells you anything.
yeah, they and like kind of like saying what we were just talking about. They didn't build the lore.
Yeah.
They kind of tried to make it like John Wick or Jason Bourne. There was like, oh my gosh, that's Jason Bourne. Like it was like that moment throughout the entire thing. Like you have a beekeeper on you. Oh no, you're dead.
You're
It's like,
done.
what does that mean? What is a beekeeper? Like, oh, it's a secret society. Okay, please explain more. Why should we be worried about this? Other than the fact that it's that he doesn't die, but that's just plot armor, you know?
Yeah, like John Wick, I explained or I talked with Biggie about this. Like John Wick, the first
Explain
one,
to me.
I did explain it to you because you probably already knew, but my reasoning was like John Wick,
Yeah.
like the reason the first one was so successful and then the second and third after was because they didn't explain everything about the secret society, but they also kept it like cryptic enough to where like you weren't sure what was going on, but like perfect, like the perfect amount. Like John Wick was being himself, being a badass, avenging his dog, ultimately like his wife, right? It was how he's seeing it. And he's coming out of retirement from being ex-military, like kind of high list hitman is kind of what you're thinking. Like,
Yeah.
you just don't really know, but you know he's somewhere there, right? And then at the end of the movie, or like throughout the movie, there's like this hotel, the Continental, and he's like paying weird coins, and like there's actually an ecosystem there that's like explained well enough to the viewer that it's like, okay, this is how he gets his stuff and gets around. Like that's pretty cool. and then they like really dive into it in the second movie, and it like the whole thing is just this massive like group coalition of hitmen and assassins, and it's cool because you didn't realize that that's what our first movie was.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just kind of, and then after you understand who John Wick is in the first movie, then in the second movie they're like, oh, you're screwed, John Wick's coming out of retirement. Like now you can make those kind of statements like Baba Yaga is coming back for you.
Right.
So yeah,
Yep.
it didn't really fit. Oh, the beekeeper, or what's he gonna do? Sting me? Like, come on.
El beekeeper.
El beekeeper.
Yeah. Yeah, they made a lot of Hornet references. You gotta take out the Hornet before they take out the Hive.
Jeez.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta kill the queen and replace her with a better one.
Queen Slayer.
Yeah, Queen Slayer. Yeah.
Like
He
that
was
was like
Queen. I was like,
that
okay.
was like his directive that he was classified as, like he's going Queen Slayer, like he's going to like take out the Queen of the Hive.
He's
And
going
so,
full
like,
Jon Snow, like
right,
all the way.
like he's going all the way. Gets to the end of the movie, doesn't kill the queen, doesn't kill.
Oh, big
He doesn't.
spoiler.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Oh yeah, but I didn't say what the queen was. But he doesn't kill the queen.
Fair enough.
So, yeah,
That's kind of a spoiler. Whatever.
I don't care.
No one's gonna watch this anyways.
We spoiled a lot.
Yes, we did. We did.
Beekeeper wife or something.
Yeah, it's actually his
we will
mom.
say no more. Yeah. True. But yeah, so we went and saw that. So far, haven't seen any good movies this year. From this year, I should say.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of good movies though from the 80s and 90s. And I did go see the Iron Claw a few weeks ago. That was fantastic. It was my second favorite movie of the year of last year. And it was a really great movie. I don't really care for wrestling, but it was a great movie about family. It was a great movie about how your household really affects you growing up, affects how you become a man, and kind of affects how you raise your own children afterwards. And it was good. It was a good movie about brothers too, which I appreciated. It was great. I never have connected more emotionally to a movie ever than I did to this one, which I won't get into because some of it is personal. But yeah, I was sobbing my eyes out when I came out of theaters, which I've never done ever. It was amazing. So 5 stars. Great movie. And Zac Efron's best film he's ever made, which isn't hard to do. But he's actually a pretty good actor. He's like on par with Robert Pattinson in my eyes. Like they're both like underrated, had a bad start, but have earned their way up to the top. So yeah,
I could see Zac Efron as like a Green Lantern.
I could see him as like Guy Gardner or something. Whoa, that was weird. I don't know about Hal Jordan, but I could definitely see him as like a Guy Gardner, like, you know, secondary Green Lantern. But
Sure.
yeah, John Hamm would be a good Hal Jordan. The dude from Top Gun Maverick, what's his name?
Oh, Rooster, right?
Glenn
the guy
Powell.
who played Rooster.
No, the guy with the smirk who thought he was better than everybody else.
Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell.
Yes. Yeah, he would be a great Hal Jordan. Yeah. Actually, the dude who's playing Guy Gardner in the upcoming Green Lantern show would be a better Hal Jordan. But he's cast as Guy Gardner, I guess. Which, okay, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So I watched a bunch of movies this year. I'm really going ham on my film watching. So because we're on 2 reasons. Well, one major reason. Kind of. So as far as watching new movies, we got AMC A-List, which is like it's AMC Stubs A-List. It's like the top tier of AMC Stubs. And basically we can see up to 3 movies a week for $22 a month. What's up, Andy? Welcome.
Hey, look who's here.
Look who's here. Yeah, so yeah, we could basically make our money back with seeing 2 or 3 movies a month, which is easy because I've already seen 2 movies this month and I plan to see more. So, yeah. So that's one thing. And then as far as going back and watching great movies, I'm just really going ham on my Letterboxd account and making reviews and watch lists and lists on there. So go check that out if you want to see what I watch. But I also am posting every movie I watched this year on my Instagram, Biggie5547. So go check that out. Which reminds me, I got to post last week's pretty soon.
Yep.
Yeah, and I finished Dark Souls 3, which was great. I did all the DLC. I learned that FromSoft DLC is 10 times harder than the actual game, which makes me very scared for Elden Ring DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree coming out. Apparently, this is a rumor. I think it's true, though. It's February 26th.
That's the biggest rumor because they just last week, the end of the week, they just pushed a DLC package to their Steam game.
Yeah. So we're getting it so soon. I'm so excited, guys. It's gonna be awesome.
People are also saying
Louis really got to finish this game here.
I'm in late game.
You're in late game. Yeah.
I'm in late game.
But you got a month. You got a month.
Yeah. Well, people were saying though, this is kind of a meme. It was like people thinking that Erdtree is coming out February, and then it's like when they realize February 2025.
Yeah.
Like no.
It's in the small print.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah.
You sure about that?
Yeah, so I'm so stoked for that. But I did start Liza P. So I've been doing some recordings. I'm gonna make a massive video of basically my whole playthrough. Maybe I'll probably split it up because it is gonna be a long video. So unless you want to watch a 20-hour video, but I doubt you will. So yeah. I don't know if it will really take me that long. It might. It might actually. 20 to 30 hours probably.
For Liza P?
So I'll probably do like half of it maybe, and then or maybe get to a certain point where I can edit them and then throw that out and then just do it that way. I'll probably do it that way, just so you don't have to wait forever. But yeah, so I've been playing Liza P and I'm actually really enjoying it. It's so much it's a Souls-like game, so it's actually a lot easier than an actual Souls game, but I'm still enjoying it. A lot of people say it's their favorite Souls-like game, which I can get on board with. It's pretty good. And then yeah, once I finish that, it's on to I'm gonna take a break from Souls and go over to survival horror, and play Dead Space Remake, which came out last year. So I'm super excited about that. And then very, very soon, we're going to start playing Sea of Thieves, which if you're on our Discord, you would know about. And
Yes.
so the new season's coming out end of January. I think it's with that, right? You can have up to 24 people in your server.
In your
that are,
guild.
like,
So
your guild?
that
Okay.
happened last season.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't
and
played
this
since
season-
season 7, I think so.
Yeah, this season is kind of like changing some things, but
Yeah.
I think it'll be fun. Hop in, create a Talking Nerds guild, and
Yep.
see how many people we can get playing together and how that all works. Figure it out. Who knows?
Definitely. So yeah, it'll be fun to hit the seas, sail the seas again. And then eventually eventually
RP. Just fair warning. I RP Sea of Thieves. So
okay.
just fair warning.
Yeah.
We'll
Fair
be
enough.
doing
So
we'll be doing all of the pirate puns, just like the beekeeper.
oh yeah. I already I've made my whole I have Discord Nitro, so I made it all pirate themed and sea themed already.
There you go.
So I'm ready. And then eventually we're gonna hit up Baldur's Gate 3. So that'll be later down the road. Yeah. So other than that, been catching up on Last Airbender. I'm in the second season, trying to get through that for the upcoming live action Netflix show, which could be total crap, but we'll see. Yeah. So let's see. I think that's about it. I'm trying to just rewatch Demon Slayer 2 to get ready for the new arc. And I think that's about it. Lots of movies. So, which you can go check out what I'm watching on Instagram.
Biggie 5547.
Biggie 5547.
Boom.
That's right.
I remembered.
Thank you.
Nice.
I'm kind of retarded.
Your turn, Bluey.
Well, this week, I have been playing Elden Ring. Trying.
Yes, sir.
Got to
Yes,
late
sir.
game.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I'm trying to get to end game. I'm about to meet the fire giant, if I remember
Yes.
correctly.
Which we can kill the fire giant, but you don't want to progress farther than that if you want to do some quest lines. Because
Right.
once you get past that, you can
It
no longer do
changes.
those.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So something to be aware of.
Right. So I probably got I'll probably give it another 3-4 hours of exploring, maybe 5 hours of leveling, exploring, before we go to Fire Giant.
I was doing
And
that for
yeah, I'm gonna spend some time
Yes, sir.
walking around. I'm almost level 100. I'm 93 right now.
Yeah.
So want to hit level 100 before I even touch Fire Giant.
You got to do
I've
some
actually-
of Ronnie. You could do Ronnie's quest too, because there's a really cool boss in that quest line that you need to do.
Okay.
You got to do. So.
I've just found that since I've been playing the game more, it's getting a lot easier. I'm figuring things out. There was one we were playing and nobody could connect to me, and I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna try to beat it myself. And it was 5 tries, and I got it, and I was super proud of myself because I was like, hey, I don't need help. I mean, it's still nice to have help and play with the boys, but it felt good that I was able to beat someone on my own.
We were talking about it too. The game is fair and it's difficult, but it's fair. So it's not actually hard. You just got to learn how to play it, and then it actually becomes fairly easy when you get the timing down.
Right.
Except for Sekiro. That's just
that game's just rude and
That's
unfair.
Just hard.
So that's super exciting, super fun. We've been playing Fall Guys. That's been kind of fun.
We did.
We should
made a little video for you guys. Which
we'll have a video or two maybe come out with us playing Fall Guys. And then saw Beekeeper with Biggie. What else? I don't think I've watched
Beekeeper with Biggie.
Beekeeper with Biggie. The Biggie Beekeeper. I don't think I've seen anything else this year, really. We do need to go see another one on our A list so that we hit the, because we cashed in on an $18 IMAX ticket, right?
Yep.
And then our next ticket pays us back what we spend for the month. So we should go find something to watch.
There is
sounds like bro math there.
Yeah, it is. It's nerd math.
There's a couple more movies I want to see that are coming out in January, so we should definitely capitalize on that.
I mean, we're only halfway through the month, but
I got to go see Wonka with Gracie, and she wanted to see Argyle when that comes out too.
Oh, we do need
Henry Cavill movie, so maybe we can do a triple date. And go see that movie.
Yeah,
all the ladies will love a Henry Cavill movie. So
all the men will love a Henry Cavill movie.
And John Cena, but other than him,
who cares about that Chinaman?
He's The Rock would just say. That's what The Rock would say
every time John Cena comes on. So that's kind of what I've been up to. Looking forward to playing more games. Sea of Thieves, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Baldur's Gate 3, I'm pretty excited to get into.
It's because we were on Discord all day, and we were listening to Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack, and we're like, we really want to play Sea of Thieves.
we were listening to Spotify together and just you know what, we're gonna play Sea of Thieves because Pirates is awesome.
Because Pirates of
So-
the Caribbeans are some of the best movies of all time.
Yeah.
So
And also, I'm going to be keeping my
They are.
Letterboxd up to date with all the movies that I watched this year. That's even ones that I rewatch. I'll be creating lists on like movies rewatched this year, movies that came out this year that I watched.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll get links to those letterboxes. We'll probably post on Instagram or something where you can follow us. Get our reviews live after we watch them because that's what we're going to be doing. So
Yes, sir.
that's all for me.
And yeah, the ones I post will be movies I've watched, movies just like anything I watched this year, whether I've watched it before or new, are gonna be up there. So everything, I promise. Yeah. Nick and I just watched a movie together, an old film from 1954
yes.
that was excellent. So if you want to talk about that,
It was good. Slow burner, but it was good at the end.
yes,
It was Rear Window, by Alfred Hitchcock movie with Jimmy Stewart and what's her name? Grace Kelly. Grace Kelly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jimmy
But it was
Stewart.
good.
I was never more. I don't think I've been more impressed with him as an actor though than in that movie. The dude sat in a chair, a wheelchair, the entire movie, and had more emotional and compelling acting than any Marvel movie or Star Wars movie in the last 10 years. So,
Yeah.
bring
Yeah,
back
not saying much.
great
but
acting.
Good for
Bring
him.
back great cinema. Make cinema great again.
Cinematography, the filming was excellent. Just the whole idea of a one set type of deal. But
yeah,
it was good. Yeah, what else did I do? I finished One Piece. I'm in a very big pirate phase right now.
Big pirate energy.
Yes, big booty energy.
Big booty energy.
So yeah, I finished One Piece, which was excellent. It was super good. If it wasn't so dang long, I would probably watch the show, but
See, that's funny. Like at least you're willing to maybe watch anime, right? Gracie loved One Piece. She's like, this is actually really great. I'm like, well, there you go. You would actually like anime. It's like, no. I don't like
that's
anime.
not what I said. That's not what I said.
But this is anime though. It's like literally just a live action. It's scene for scene, frame for frame, the exact same thing, just live action. She's like, but that's the thing. I don't like the anime. I don't like the animation and the weird Japanese quips. I'm like, well, whatever.
Yeah, I obviously don't mind that.
Why do you refuse to watch it?
Yeah, I don't mind the animation at all. I actually think the Marvel and DC animated movies that come out are usually better than the live action.
Oh, wow.
At least for sure recently.
Yeah.
But it's the Japanese the quips that are hard, the campiness and
you get over that so quickly though because you love the characters so much. You love I'm telling you, it doesn't meet like some of the best things like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and stuff like that, obviously. But overall, anime is some of the best story writing or writing in general I have ever seen. It is so good. And it's so broad too. There's so many different genres and whatever you're into, anime's made it. So yeah. So you got to watch Attack on Titan next.
Yeah, that's on my list for next.
And you just got to start it because you'll never watch it if you don't. You just got to start it and just keep up with it.
It's one of those shows where like the first 2 episodes are like, I'm in it for the long haul already. Like
it's like Invincible in that way.
Like Invincible, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I'm kind of hooked. I want to know what's happening. Like that's what I think's missing from a lot of like Western media is there's no good reason to like follow compelling characters anymore. At least at the beginning for sure. And even so, like Disney characters never really become compelling, but it's just kind of a struggle even like outside of Disney and the big tech people who are making content. It's hard for them to really get compelling characters anymore. And I think that's something that anime has done a really good job at is like you're invested in those characters like 3 episodes in at most, like a lot of times it's the first episode you're like, okay, I really want to stick with this character and understand what's going on in this world. And that's why I always can't, I just have to like, I can't start another anime without finishing another. Like I have to like finish just because it's like I gotta know what's going on. But yeah.
The only one that it took me a couple times to get into it was Full Metal Alchemist. And I think once I've watched the whole thing, I really do appreciate it. A lot of people say it's the best anime ever, which I can understand. I wouldn't say it is, but it does get very repetitive. But once you get to the end, you're like, oh wow, that was excellent. So
yeah, that's one where it's like if you've got a couple animes under your belt, that's one that you would watch, you know.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't like start someone on that.
Yeah.
And Cowboy Bebop. You wait a little bit before you watch Cowboy Bebop.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
I love Cowboy Bebop though.
I watched the live action on Netflix.
Oh, that was trash.
Anime.
Yeah. That was awful.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, and then I literally like less than an hour ago we just finished watching the third Pirates of the Caribbean. So we watched 1, 2, 3 in the last like week or two.
Nice.
So
nice.
That was pretty
Neko?
awesome. No.
You're one assignment.
Man.
I was gonna watch the first episode tonight, but by the time I got home and we ate dinner and everything, I wasn't gonna have time to watch a whole episode, and we literally had like half hour left of Pirates, so we just finished that instead. But I don't think I'm missing much, but we'll hear. And I don't care about spoilers.
You're missing American Indian greatness. I kept trying to say African. You're missing
American
greatness.
Indian powers.
Yeah.
You're missing. Yeah. Okay, we'll get into it.
You're missing how great reservations are.
Yes.
And why
you're missing
shouldn't
the
get
best
off the
part
reservation.
of Marvel. The most intense part of Marvel.
Yep.
Well, I did watch a third of that What If episode, so I got at least some of that education in. So
that was a different character though. That was a different character. But we'll get into it.
And I'm really excited for Sea of Thieves. That would be really fun. I'm excited for that.
Yep.
Yeah. So alrighty. Shall we get into we'll get into one article and then we're trying something different. But yeah, we'll get into that. All right, so upcoming Ray solo film director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy says, "It's about time we had a woman come forward to shape the story of Star Wars."
It's about damn time.
As if that's hasn't happened before.
Right.
As if that's never if that's hasn't been said by the same people in the last 10 years. I mean, we've already gotten a Ray trilogy. Now we're getting a Ray solo film, and it's big news. And it's hilarious though, because
it's the biggest news.
Disney can't help themselves. Like right out the gate of 2024, they come out with this. So that's fantastic. So yes. And a declaration that could seemingly only come from someone who spent the last decade completely detached from the once beloved sci-fi franchise, doesn't know anything about Star Wars. Director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy has opined that one particularly exciting aspect of her upcoming Rey solo film is that it will finally allow women to guide the Star Wars narrative direction. As if the very first scene in Star Wars wasn't Leia bringing the Death Star plans, escaping with the Death Star plans. The opening scene of Star Wars, anything Star Wars was
about shaping the universe.
Yeah, about
Leia had the universe on her shoulders, man.
Talk about not knowing anything about the giant IP that you're directing.
Oh, what about Padme?
The problem
or Padme or any.
Oh yeah.
Huh. I wonder how she's shaped.
Like we didn't just have the whole Ahsoka show, as bad as that was. What about that?
Interesting.
It's just funny.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. No women have shaped Star Wars ever.
What's funny too? That's like they don't even realize that they're literally copying. They wanted to go away from what Luke did because Luke's a man, and he can't shape the Star Wars universe because why would we do that? So let's just copy his exact same story, but have a different outcome. Have a positive outcome. He gets the negative one. He gets the terrible ending, and we'll give it all to Rey.
Yes.
Because she's not going to mess up.
No.
Oba Chinoy, whose directorial filmography primarily consists of documentaries highlighting the social plights faced by women in her home country of Pakistan, offered this insight. She touted the first woman and first person of color to direct a Star Wars film, who appeared via a pre-recorded interview with Anchor, opened their discussion by elaborating on her personal excitements towards her forthcoming Lucasfilm outing. This, by the way, this next thing I'm about to quote here is the only thing she says actually relating to Star Wars. I'm very thrilled about the project because I think that we are about to create something very special, and we're in 2024 now, and I think it's about time we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
Yes.
That little phrase, galaxy far, far away, is all she says actually about Star Wars. She knows nothing about Star Wars. Oh, and not to mention Kathleen Kennedy is horrible as she is. She's in charge of Star Wars. OMG, talking nerds. Yes. Big pod. Big pod.
Podcast. Here
Yep.
we are.
Thank you. Let's throw that back up. As noted, the 2-episode Miss Marvel director's comments come off as absolutely baffling, given the real attention the overall Star Wars franchise has given to the female perspective ever since its 2012 purchase by Disney. Following the completion of the sale, Disney proceeded to promote film producer Kathleen Kennedy as president of Lucasfilm, at which she proceeded to position the aforementioned Rey as the overpowered, poorly written protagonist of the franchise's third and unfortunately canon trilogy. Additionally, during her tenure as president, Kennedy has overseen the production of such film series as The Mandalorian, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Ahsoka. All of which have had female usurpers take over the male's lead. Each of which have made heavy-handed, even forceful attempts at boosting the franchise's profile of their respective female leads, at the expense of their male counterparts. Bo-Katan in Mandalorian, and of course, Reva in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
The one that went toe to toe with Darth Vader. That Reva.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Right. That one, the best villain in all of fiction.
Yes.
Then there's the fact that
Reva is the best villain.
Yes, Reva's
Exactly. Right.
Because she ruined Star Wars. She ruined Star Wars. She's a villain to us.
Yes, that's right. Then there's the fact that Ahsoka centered around a cast of primary female heroines, which will, while not an objective negative, is notable due to how it pokes a hole in Oba Chinoy's statement. Further countering the director's narrative is that the reality is not only that there have been numerous women in various behind-the-scene roles across the franchise, such as A New Hope editor Marshall Lucas, Obi-Wan director Deborah Chow, The Mandalorian director Bryce Dallas Howard, who didn't actually really make great episodes, but we'll ignore that for now. Ahsoka directors Jennifer Getzinger and I always say this wrong, Gita Fasant Patel. I don't know. And Rebels co-creator Carrie Beck. But that its next entry, The Acolyte, which you may hear us talk about later in tonight's episode, will be helmed, written, and star a team of primarily women.
Nice.
Notably,
Perfect.
this is not the first time that she has positioned her upcoming Star Wars outing as a franchise's breaking of the glass moment. At the film's announcement in May 2023, the director explained her role as the first woman to direct a Star Wars feature. I've always kicked open doors that were previously closed, and I think my feeling is that there is a critical mass of women who have begun to move forward in places that were previously closed to them. And then, of course, the same women who likes to make men uncomfortable, enjoys making men uncomfortable. So yeah, Star Wars is saved, everybody. Woo! Yay.
In a way, she has succeeded. I am very uncomfortable watching all of this.
Honestly, I'm very excited to watch this movie because I just want to see how poorly it does.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna do worse than the Marvels, which is pretty hard to do because the Marvels lost a lot of money.
Yep.
We made more money in this podcast than the Marvels made, which is like $1. So that tells you everything. They lost like $400 million.
Yep. And I've made $0 off of this podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm already in the positive. I'm way ahead.
It's a break.
You're doing great. You don't even have a deficit, so you're doing
This is great. I'm in the white, green. I don't even know, but they're in the red,
black.
and I'm not there.
In the black.
Yeah, I'm not even there.
Yep. So, yes. So great news for Star Wars. We are so excited. And of course, great things with Marvel too. So, we will be talking later about our most and least anticipated, and that is not going to be sarcasm. We are actually excited for some things this year. So, hopefully they don't.
Contrary to popular belief, we do get excited about some things.
We do get excited about some stuff.
Liar!
So we'll see. But yeah, so let's go through some headlines. The headlines of the week. Paramount Pictures reportedly greenlights third Top Gun film from Maverick co-writer Tom Cruise, yet to sign on. Just a rumor right now, but that's pretty cool. Best film of 2022. So if they continue with what they found success in, they will find more success. So I'm always afraid of things doing well these days, because I know that it's just going to be eaten up by all the bad writers then, and then that becomes just as woke as everything else, which is kind of why I don't think that One Piece season 2, if it happens, will be woke. I just don't know if it will happen, because I feel like they're going to try to take over control over it, and then the writer is going to just be like, nah, we're not doing this anymore. Which could totally happen, because that's what he threatened to do for season 1. So,
and I think too,
and of course, there's always. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I think too for Top Gun specifically, like the success that the second one had after the first, and the reasons that it had success. If the third one does happen and it goes absolutely down the toilet, we'll have a clear blueprint of, okay, this one worked and we're right about why this worked. This one didn't work and we're right about why this didn't work. We have a clear what you're trying to do is not going to work, and what we are telling you is going to works. We're going to have a clear comparison if that happens. Hopefully it doesn't, but if it does, we won't have any more of a clear picture on what works and what doesn't.
Well, and hopefully what doesn't happen is what happened with The Force Awakens, where it's like a lot of people were excited to go see it, and it made money just because people are excited for a new Star Wars movie or something that we thought was going to be good.
Yeah.
See how that happens.
I think that one's I see what you're saying. That one's a little different though, because we genuinely thought Force Awakens, we were like, okay, this, I was excited to see it, and looking back now, it's like, I should have seen this coming. But I don't think there's really any of that in Top
It's Game of Thrones season 7.
Maverick. Yeah, I think Maverick was a good standalone film. Obviously with Force Awakens, they were like, we're going to continue the story into a trilogy. But Maverick is no, it's you could wrap a bow on this and it's pretty much well done. So I think that's going to be a little bit different. But yeah, hopefully it's not like that.
Yeah. Same applies to House of the Dragon. Hopefully season 2 is actually good. And I hope they release it the same time as Rings of Power season 2.
Oh my goodness.
That would be brilliant.
That would be really good.
Rumor: Marvel's Daredevil Born Again to see Deborah Ann Woll and Eldon Henson reprise roles as Karen Page and Foggy Nelson, which is exciting because previously they were said not to be in it. But there've been a lot of rewrites recently. I think they rewrote the entire thing, to be completely honest.
Because they saw that Daredevil sleeping with She-Hulk was not the play.
Well, they really cucked him in She-Hulk, so yeah.
Which, spoiler alert, they did not cuck him in Echo in the 30 seconds that he showed up.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
So, yeah. I love Foggy. Foggy's other than Daredevil, obviously he's my favorite character. So I'm excited. Hopefully they bring Punisher in too. That'd be great.
Cool. Now that Disney Marvel is going a little more towards the gritty side, bringing those into canon.
Well, it's funny because they said Echo would be gritty and violent, and it really wasn't.
It wasn't that bad. It was well. The worst part was Kingpin beating up the ice cream vendor.
It was so stupid.
That's the grittiest part, I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
That was in the preview. That's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care if you spoil, but.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah. So
it was so stupid. That would never happen. A guy just yelling at a clearly deaf girl. He's like, "Why can't you hear me?" Pushes her over. You're stupid.
What do you want?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So, anyways, yeah. So that's exciting. Who knows? They'll probably ruin those characters too. Robert Downey Jr. seemingly confirms MC return, suggests news is not just yet ready to announce. I don't know what to believe on this because again, we're not reading the article, so maybe he said something very specific, but I know Kevin Feige has confirmed multiple times that he's not coming back. He's retired from this role, but we saw No Way Home. We saw that started. So you never know. And I don't know how to feel about this, to be completely honest. It feels like they're reviving the dead to try to bring excitement back. I mean, which is what they're doing. But it's not going to be the same. It's never going to be the same because the hype around it is not the same. And it just doesn't have the spirit that it had. It doesn't have the soul that it has. It's just going to be so forced. So I'm not super hyped about it, but we'll see.
I think they're just going to ruin the character if they bring him back.
Yeah.
In whatever capacity that looks like. I just think if it is any capacity relating to Iron Man, they're just going to ruin the character.
Yeah. Yep. And going over to the real side of things, the real state of Hollywood. Kevin Hart says the Oscars are not comedy friendly anymore. These gigs aren't good gigs for comics, which is what we've been saying for a long time now, is that comedy is dead. And you'll notice that comedy movies aren't being made anymore. There's a lot of horror movies being made because horror is pretty safe.
What about the Marvel movies?
Oh, fair enough.
That's comedy for a different reason, Nick.
Yeah.
They turned the friggin' frogs gay.
So, I mean, yeah, you can't argue with that, I'm
kind of retarded.
Alex Jones has spoken. Comedy is dead, and Ricky Gervais kind of showed that at the Golden Globes a couple years ago, and they're all uncomfortable with it. They just can't be made fun of, and they don't have thick skins. And comedy is supposed to take stabs at both sides of the aisle. Everybody should be made fun of because you can't take yourself too seriously.
Well, I don't know if you guys heard about the whole Golden Globes Taylor Swift drama.
Yeah, I heard.
The comedian on there, okay, first of all, he didn't even make fun of her, but
no, it was the tamest joke ever, and the article was like,
and it was like, so what he says was, hey, welcome to the Golden Globes. The only thing different about the Golden Globes compared to the NFL is we've got fewer shots of Taylor Swift here, and like.
And she was furious.
She kind of had a.
What the hell is even that?
Yeah, she was kind of like not happy about it, and I don't maybe she didn't understand the joke, but it was a shot at the NFL, not at her. Like the fact that the NFL is mooching off of her fame to get viewers and to get that's what the joke's about, not the fact that she's super famous everywhere she goes. Like that's not the point of the joke. And then he continued to apologize, and he was like, yeah, I mean, he's right. It wasn't that funny of a joke, but because
No,
it's
but it wasn't
overused.
a bad
Everybody
joke.
knows that the NFL overuses Taylor Swift shots. Like it's the
Yeah.
same thing they talk about Patrick Mahomes every non-Chiefs game. Like it's just unreal that the NFL does this. It's nothing new. So it wasn't really that funny of a joke, but also it wasn't a personal attack. And like all these Swifties online are like freaking out about, oh, we're gonna riot. We're gonna make sure this man never has a career because he made fun of Taylor. She handled it like such a queen, and it's like, no, she didn't get the
She did
joke.
not handle it well. She glared
She
at the
didn't.
camera.
She didn't understand the joke. It looked like,
We,
and she thought it was a
we need
personal
a
attack.
beekeeper for that.
Yeah. We need
So-
Jada Smith. Good Jada Smith over here.
So honestly, I'm
about you?
surprised. I'm surprised she didn't walk up there and slap him. You know, we've got precedent now, people. So
Did you see that? Did you see that clip where it's like Chris Rock's view of the Oscars, and it was a clip from Family Guy where Peter's running up the aisle and he comes up to the person on stage and slaps him. So good.
but yeah, comedy's kind of. I mean, it's interesting. Comedy in the normal sense of media is dead. Now, if you're going out to find a stand-up comic, you're going out to shows, it's very much alive.
Yeah.
Like the stand-up comics are thriving right now because it's not found anywhere else. And I think that's that's correlating. Comics aren't writing scripts for SNL anymore. They just have script writers. Like it's not even funny. Comics hate Saturday Night Live now because it's dumb. Like they hate it. A lot of them started there, but now look, like that was back in the early 2000s, late 90s, right? And so if you go out to the actual comedy scene, they're thriving out there because people go to see it. And the people who want to go see it understand the risks of going to a comedy show of like your people group might get made fun of, whatever that means. If it's your race, if it's your religion, if it's your the color of your skin, if you have a beard, if you have long hair, if you're a guy, if you're a girl, whatever group of people you're a part of, it's not safe. And that's the point. That's why people go, because it's funny. And I think people take it too seriously when you know, a joke has to contain some sort of truth to be funny. Otherwise it's not relatable and it's not going to be funny to anybody. And so there has to be a part of truth, and that's true of satire as well. There has to be a part of truth to make it semi-believable, but also you understand that it's a joke and that it's not actually true in all cases. So I think, yes, comedy and media is dead, but it's not dead in the sense of you can go find it when you need to, which I'm still thankful for, and hopefully it stays that way. But people have been trying to cancel comics for years. I mean, Dave Chappelle's one of those.
It's funny. Everyone's calling him conservative because he had one based comment, but it's not at all a conservative in any way. But yeah, I mean, you look at the talk shows too, you know, like the late night shows, which, I mean, for the last several years have definitely gone down the toilet, you know, doing stupid, you know, we won't get into all the things they've done, but during the writer's strike, they all made a podcast together and it was awful. Literally not a single good joke. It was so cringe. It was like a bunch of dads got together and thought they, you know, would make a funny podcast.
That's probly
It's like
funnier
us,
than
you know,
what
it's
they
like
did.
our podcast essentially.
Oh, wait a minute.
Liar!
No. So yeah, it's just like none of these guys actually write their own content except for, you're right, the stand-up comics. So yeah, go do it yourself. That's the only way to do it.
Yep.
All right, so it's that time. It's time to talk about Echo. Yeah. Let me get out my notes.
Oh no, you did take episodic notes, right?
I did.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go through everything, but the show. Let's talk about this is her name, Alaqua Cox. Alaqua Cox. That is her name.
I didn't laugh.
Wow.
Nick laughed.
So-
Nick laughed, and he made me laugh. I didn't laugh at it. Nick did, and then he made me laugh.
Shut up, bitch!
That's her name.
She doesn't even talk.
Yes. So she
That's
is
true. That's so out of touch, Nathan.
She is a Native American deaf actress, and that is all she has going for her. That is actually the only reason she got hired. She's never acted ever before Hawkeye/Echo. She used to work at an Amazon warehouse and decided that she would audition for the role because they were looking for a diversity casting. So that is the only reason she got cast in this role, and it shows big time. She has one emotion. Occasionally she smiled, but she had one emotion the entire show.
And it was just RBF the entire time.
RBF, big RBF energy the entire time. And yeah, girl boss alert, because there are a lot of girl bosses in this show.
No,
so
just
get
girl.
ready.
Just girl alert. We're not gonna call them bosses. They're just girls.
Well, yeah, that's the
girl alert.
Yeah, girl alert. So the entire show starts with basically a flashback to something like I don't even know really what it is. It's like a Native American creation story. I don't know. And basically these like aliens, I mean, I don't even know what they are. They're like gods or something. Native American gods. What would you even call them?
The spirits.
They come down to Earth and become human, and they're led by, of course, a woman. Which, to be fair, apparently the Choctaw Nation is a very matriarchal nation. So, fair enough. But of course, they had to make her an insufferable chiefess. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, yeah. That was
chiefess. It's the woman chief.
The woman chief. Right. Sorry. My bad. They're actors, not actresses. Yeah. So that's how the whole thing has started. Basically, he's arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, right? The celebrity has arrived. Whenever he wants to come in, he comes in.
Welcome.
I see the TF every time.
I'm the only one of the four who has a young human who depends on him.
Yes, you're right.
I guess that's fair.
Yes, sir.
So we're talking about Echo.
Okay.
If you watched it or not.
I mean, I read up on it so that I had something to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Contribute.
Okay. That's the word I'm looking for.
Are you doing Discord noises over there, sir?
No.
Oh.
I just got kicked out.
Oh, you got kicked out. I see. All right. So yeah. So starts with the Native American spirits coming to Earth, and they're led by matriarchal goddess or whatever she is. Yes, of course. Then we pan over basically the entire first episode, or at least half of it, was a recap of Hawkeye because they couldn't think of anything better to do. And they actually crammed 8 episodes into 5 episodes, and still managed to have at least half of the show be her riding around on a motorcycle with nothing going on. It was a whole lot of nothing, I'll be completely honest. This was probably the most boring show I've ever seen. And if you were not watching, 90% of the show was in American Sign Language. So you would miss the conversations that are going on that are all in American Sign Language.
They really committed to it, huh?
Yes, they did.
Oh, and you know what the best part is? In the comics, this character is supposed to be like Daredevil. She's supposed to be able to read lips.
I was going to get to that, yeah.
Well, yeah, and oh, she's supposed to be able to read lips. And isn't like in the comics her power is mimicry, right? Like she can literally mimic the fighting style of anyone she sees, correct?
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny because the director of the show said the comic book version of Echo is lame, no pun intended. because she's lame in the show. She's missing a leg. That was a joke.
Not a joke.
So, not a joke.
How about new?
I'm kind of retarded.
So, yeah. Basically, yeah, she said the comic book version of her is lame. So we're gonna create our own thing, and that is exactly what they did. But yes, you're right. She's supposed to be able to read lips, and they didn't add that feature into this. And because she's not an actual actress, an experienced actress, and because she's deaf, she looked like she was confused the entire time because she had no idea what anybody was saying. That was her face the entire time was confused. And she was always looking so confused.
Yeah. And then like the guy, there was one scene where she was, it was like, I think it was the first episode. She was like really confused, and the guy went, and she was like, "Oh yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah, let's go."
Let's go.
And it was like, "Oh, so gun, like like it's fighting time, like now you're engaged." Like it was just so dumb. So,
is she actually paralyzed in real? Or it's not paralyzed. Is she actually an amputee in real life too?
I think so. Yeah.
I think they hit.
How did they
find
find this girl?
They got all the check boxes.
Amazon, baby.
She worked at Amazon warehouse before this. This is her only acting gig she's ever had, and they hired her because she checks all the boxes.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so that's what we got. That's what we got for this. So basically, when she's a little kid, we won't get into the whole backstory, but they get in a car. Her and her mom get in a car accident. Her mom dies. Now, Zach, what happens when you get in a car accident? What happens to the windshield if you get hit?
It breaks usually.
How does it break though?
You go through it.
Well, like
how you get T-boned.
How does the glass itself break?
It shatters
into lots of little pieces, right?
Yes.
Or it might stay intact, but it's just like a big spider web.
Yeah.
Crack, right? Well, in this, a giant window
piece of glass chops her leg off.
No, actually, doesn't even chop it off. It stabs her leg.
It just stabs her at the top of the knee. She's like a 10-year-old child.
I mean, I'm not gonna claim to be an expert on car accidents, but I've never seen a car accident that happened with windshield
There's no
glass.
way. It's built to not do that because
yes, exactly. Because otherwise you would have giant shards. You would have giant shards of glass chopping everybody up all the time.
Well, it would go into your neck. It'd go to your eye. Like literally, there's so many things that could go wrong if the glass was built that way. It was like a window pane, like from a house.
That is ridiculous.
And the literally the precise situation that would have had to happen for it to go into the exact spot into her leg is inconceivable. They really picked a good child actress, by the way, because she was just motionless as the adult version.
Yeah.
Windows, baby.
Really? I actually heard that like her younger version was like one of the better parts of the show. Because she provided heart to the show is what I read.
If you want to call it that, sure. I didn't think here's why though I'm saying this. Like I'm not joking. Like her mother dies, spoiler alert, in the car accident.
Not really,
and she doesn't even go. And of course she's deaf. You wouldn't be like, Mom. You would hear or like shake you like, Mom, no, nothing. She just
like
taps
hitting
her,
like trying to get her to wake up or like something, right? No, she sits in her
maybe
chair like
she'd
this.
be like crying a lot. No, she's like. And then we pan to the hospital. Her legs amputated.
Gone.
And she's great. She's perfectly fine. No tears. What happened to Mom? Oh, Mom's not okay. Oh, okay. What?
Wow.
What the hell is even that?
Literally. It was some of the worst. It was just so cringy. By the end, I was so pissed. Tyler can attest. We watched it together.
Nice.
So this is the setup for the show. Then we get to adult version of her. By the way, this kind of is taking the events of Hawkeye So her dad, he dies. He gets killed by
Kingpin.
Ronin, but because of
that's
Kingpin.
right.
Kingpin did.
Yeah.
So, the entire half of the episode was a recap of Hawkeye, and then, they tried to make throughout the entire show. They tried to justify her actions. They tried to justify the fact that she became a murderer, that she did all these violent crimes, all these things. And it didn't matter that she hurt the people closest to her because it wasn't her fault. She was abandoned as a child. She was left to Kingpin. So it was everybody else's fault. She never once takes, responsibility for her actions throughout the entire show. And so you never actually see that, like, yeah, this happened. Kingpin turned me into a killer. But I was the one who did those things. So I'm going to take responsibility for that and not do that. That never occurs once in this entire show. So that's that gives you a little foreshadow here. She basically becomes this badass, assassin who can't hear.
Right. That combo doesn't make sense to me. You wouldn't be able to hear anything.
And she fights Daredevil in the first episode, and Daredevil's awesome as ever. But they try to make this badass fight between the two of them, and you're supposed to believe that she is capable of standing toe to toe with Daredevil.
I will say they did not do Daredevil dirty. Like, he
or at least
was
one foot.
in charge. He was in charge. He was in charge of that fight from beginning to end.
Yes, he was.
The only thing that was different was she lasted longer than everybody else that Daredevil normally fights.
Right. And and we don't know, if they're gonna fight again or not, but they could fight again, and then she kicks his butt or something lame like that. You there, Zach?
Am I actually back? Okay, I am.
Yeah,
back
you're there.
now. Okay.
You're there.
For some reason it glitched out. So just 5 seconds.
good.
She fights Daredevil and
she doesn't win.
No. Daredevil's in charge. Daredevil is in charge of that fight the whole way through. The only difference is she lasts a little bit longer than I think probable, and like more than anybody else that Daredevil fights. She's like an elongated fight. But I'm okay with that because Daredevil whooped her.
Is what I read.
Yeah, Daredevil whooped her.
She beats up a bunch of goons all at once. She spoiler beats Kingpin in the end. So she does all these things.
Wait.
We'll get to it.
I'm just saying that I'm just setting this up because there is at one point, again, she can't read lips. She has no special powers. Well,
yeah, I read about that.
Yeah. She doesn't have any like things like Daredevil can sense his surroundings. She can't. And she literally gets the old taparoo on the shoulder essentially and gets kidnapped, chloroformed later in the show.
Of
and
course.
It's like, okay, you're telling me this person
this is the first time this has happened?
This is an assassin. This is a world-class assassin. Like, unbelievable.
Side note about and I know that people are going to say, well, you didn't say this about Black Widow, and I actually will. When it comes to highly trained hand-to-hand combat specialists, I'm sorry, a 5'2" woman would never win against a 6' male. Absolutely would never happen.
That's why
if they're anywhere near the same skill level, the 6' man is literally too heavy for the 5'2" woman to move.
Yeah. I love that line from One Piece when Zoro's a kid and he's training with his friend who's a girl, and she just whoops his butt over and over and over again. He's like, I'm never going to be able to beat you. And she said, Are you serious? Are you kidding me right now? She's like, girls can beat boys, but women can never beat men.
Exactly.
And I'm like, based. Like, holy crap. And that's just so it's like, it's true. And that was the big problem I had with Rebel Moon. It's like this girl was even smaller than Echo in Rebel Moon, and she whooped everybody's butt. It's just unrealistic. It's not sexist. It's just real. That's just how it is. It's biology.
Have you seen
baby.
That Danny McBride, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen that clip where he's like a kung fu sensei or something like that? And he's teaching a class, like a karate class or something?
Napoleon Dynamite?
I don't think it's Napoleon Dynamite. It's the one where it might be from a movie.
It might be. Is it shoot? It's Hot Rod, right?
I don't know. It's not Hot Rod. I just watched Hot Rod last summer.
Okay.
Anyways, he's a sensei and he's like teaching what seems like a fairly beginnerish karate class, and it's mixed, right? Mixed age, gender. Yeah. And so he's got this like, mom in there, and he's like, this, you were gonna do combos here, and then he's just got this 30-year-old beefy male, and he's like, now I think you're gonna be surprised here when she rips these combos out. And he's like, are you worried? And the guy's like, no. He's like, oh, you should be. And then he's like, all right, Marianne. He's like, let him have it. And he literally, the dude walks up, grabs her in the head, and just uppercuts her to the stomach, and she ends up on the ground. And it was like, that's what would happen.
Pretty much.
99 times out of 100.
The foot fist way, it's called.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's a great scene.
Yeah. Yep.
So anyways, okay. So back to Echo.
Yeah. So she's not very intimidating yet. She kicks everybody's butt
until she gets the magic fingers.
Yes, we will get to that. So, she hooks up, gets with Kingpin, and Kingpin's, teaching her all these crime things, and she's climbing the ranks and everything. And it's just so funny. There's a translator that Kingpin has for her, and it's like such a serious moment. It's after her father dies, and she's pissed, and she like breaks a motorcycle at a motorcycle shop, and the cops are there and they're arresting her, and then Kingpin shows up and everybody's like, oh, back up. And Kingpin takes her away, and they get in the limo and they're just talking. And you just see giant Kingpin and this little translator girl. I'm like, this is silly. Like, what the heck is this? This is Kingpin. Like, he's one of the baddest villains in Marvel, and Spider-Man has a hard time with this guy. And in comics, it's like, oh gosh, this is so stupid. And look, there's nothing wrong with American Sign Language, obviously, but the entire show was built around this. It got old so fast, and you had to pay so close attention, and it just got really boring. And you could tell that nobody was experienced at American Sign Language, so everybody was talking so slow. And later on in the show, Kingpin gets this technology that's freaking like, he puts an earpiece in his ear, her eye, so that when she signs, his earpiece translates.
Oh my gosh! Just to speed the narrative along, I'm sure.
And then when he talks, there are virtual hands.
Oh my gosh!
Doing the
what the heck?
That is.
It looks so stupid. It's
boys and girls at home. That is what we call a heavy-handed plot device.
Yes.
Wow.
How about new?
Heavy-handed.
Yeah. Yes, Cox. Yeah. So that was all very silly. The entire thing was just funny. It was just so dumb.
Not even. It was boring. It was not funny.
It was boring. As well. The first episode I laughed a lot, and then it got really old after that. Kingpin
I was interested in what Tyler thought, because he was the one that had the most optimism for this show.
Yeah.
Nothing but regret.
Nothing but regret. Yep. So yeah, basically Kingpin's a little bitch. He's
classic emasculation.
Of a great villain.
That's a lot of man to demasculate.
It is.
No kidding.
It is. She basically goes back home to her after she kills Kingpin at the end of Hawkeye. She goes back home to Oklahoma, where
Did she actually
the
kill
entire show takes
Kingpin?
place.
She just knocked him out, I thought.
No,
She
she
shoots
shot
him.
him in the eye.
Plot armor.
Oh.
Let me tell you, plot
Yeah.
armor.
That's right.
She shot him in the eye, and he has his eye at the end when he
What?
comes back later in the show.
That's like his device, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, but like, it's silly. So she
She
gets
goes
back.
home to Oklahoma.
She goes to her grandma's house or something. By the way, her grandparents who were there when she was a kid hated her dad, so they had to move away to New York after her mom died because they blamed her grandmother blamed her
Maya
dad.
And her dad moved to New York.
Yes, the grandma blamed Maya's dad for the death of Maya's mom, who was the daughter of the grandmother, and because she knew that her dad was caught up in gang stuff, and so she gets back. She hasn't been home in 20 years, and she runs into her cousin, who was a blundering idiot the entire show. He's a fat, waste of space male character that is in every one of these shows. You know, the male idiot sidekick.
Yep.
And the dude's an idiot the entire time, and they really push the whole like, we're really trying to make her seem like she's really cool. And he's like, Maya's back. Yeah, Maya's back. And he said it several times. It's like, we get it. She's back.
She's back.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
So he's got this dog named Billy Joel or something like that. And the dog understands American Sign Language.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Because the dog
started whipping it out with its paws.
No, but the dog tries to, like, it was like barking at Maya, and he's like, "Whoa, boy, it's okay. Maya's good people. She's cousin. She's good." And it was like,
and the dog's like,
you could have just been like, no. It was the cousin whose name is Biscuit.
Okay, that's stupid then.
The
whole family knows.
The dog is Billy, and the cousin is Biscuit.
Biscuits.
Yes. Yes.
Why does the whole family know ASL?
Laughed out loud
because of Maya.
But she hasn't been there in 20 years. I can guarantee you'd forget ASL after 20 years.
It's a way that they continued to communicate because nobody else around them knew it. So it's like their thing. But it's also like, I'm saying that to like rationalize it as best as possible, but you're absolutely
they didn't really
correct.
Explain that.
It's literally because they're trying to make it the whole thing of the movie or the show.
Got it.
So
got it. Okay.
Yeah. Not to mention that dog is probably not 20 years old, so that means that sometime in the life of that short dog, short life, somebody taught him sign language.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Like dogs understand hand motions, but like straight up ASL.
That's not extremely far-fetched outside of, again, the heavy-handed plot device that her whole family, of course, knows ASL and remembers it 20 years later, unless there's a good in-universe reason for them to use it within the last 20 years that she's been there.
And this is like extended family too, like her grandpa, grandma, and her cousins.
Again, I can guarantee you no one outside of your immediate family would probably know it.
Right.
She sends all the postcards in sign language.
It's just a bunch of hand-drawn pictures of hands.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, basically, I want to show that picture, the Land O'Lakes. That was so funny. We'll get to that later, but yeah, she essentially she goes to a roller rink that she grew up at, where her uncle is, who owns the roller rink. And
this is uncle, her dad's brother, so he's
her dad's brother, so he's involved in all the gang stuff as well. And they need to talk, but it was funny because she was like, "Can we talk somewhere private where no one can hear us?" No one can hear you.
That's a stupid Marvel joke for stupid laughs.
No, they were being serious.
They were being serious?
It wasn't a joke.
Even
not
if
a
it was
joke.
a joke,
It's
that's
not
a
a joke.
poor joke.
Not a
It's
joke.
not a joke,
Not
Joe.
a joke.
Yeah.
You sure
You-
about that?
You
So-
should have a not a joke.
I know. I'll add it. I'll add
sound
it.
cue. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah.
And here's the best part too. So her uncle is her dad's brother, right? He's he is part of, like, he is under the rule of Kingpin's goons. So like he's
Even
like,
though he's in Oklahoma and
Yeah,
Kingpin
so,
rules New York.
Kingpin has like supply chains, and he
Okay, I
is
guess that's
running the
fair.
supply chain that goes to
Okay.
Kingpin's people, right? He runs the trains through Oklahoma. They make this dude out to be like the most, like, what's the word? Like he is the most virtuous
Influential?
and virtuous, and he's got the best ethics that a goon could have. Like, this dude's running a kids
the nicest
roller
guy ever.
skate rink, and he's
I
like hiring like these just people who can't get jobs. He's
nice to his goon.
He's nice
Really
to his
nice.
people.
He's
Like his people come to him.
I'll take the downfall. You don't need to take the downfall.
Yeah, like his people. So like Maya sends a bomb to New York via one of his trains, right? And so it like blows up, and they're like tracing it back, right? And his people are like, it came out of one of our cars. Like, they're like freaking out, and he's like, did you guys mess anything up? And they're like, no. And he's like, great, then our books are clean. We don't have anything to worry about. And if the crap rolls down the hill, it's falling on me. And you're like, nobody's doing that. Like, they made this guy come out because of the check boxes that they're trying to mark with this diversity cast that they have going on here. There's no possible way. Yeah, there's no possible way that this Native American Indian is going to be a corrupt goon under Kingpin or mob boss. There's just no way. No way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, she needs his help to take down Kingpin. He's like, I'm not helping you. And she said, it's time for a queen. It's not time to take down Kingpin, because she thinks Kingpin's dead at this point. But the rule, everything, And she says,
good old MCU.
Yes, it's time for a queen.
Yep.
And at the end of the episode, of course, we find out Kingpin's alive. So that kind of sets up the entire show.
At least her uncle didn't own a casino or something.
There's a roller rink.
They go into a casino later.
They do.
They do. They meet in a casino.
So that's the end of episode 2?
No, that was episode 1. So
we're on 1 of 5.
Wow.
Baby.
How did they cram that much into episode 1?
Well, we talked about it for a while.
It was like an hour episode too. So
okay.
Basically all of episode 2 was her being a pouty little brat with resting bitch face as always. And hating on her family. Everybody made her a victim. Everybody abandoned her. They all suck. Even though she had plenty of opportunity to come back in the last 20 years and didn't.
Right.
So yeah.
And apparently everybody loves her. Cousins saying Maya's back.
Right. So basically, and here's the thing.
Good old Biscuit.
It's not that she just leaves.
Baby biscuits, and Billy Joel.
Billy Joel.
I remember.
It's not that she just leaves leaves everybody alone. She
was
brings
off the reservation, man.
Yeah. But I need that. So she brings her cousin into her shenanigans. The poor guy, he's a blundering idiot. He doesn't know anything better. She forces him to help her basically put the bomb on the train to go up to New York. And she gets her foot stuck. Her prosthetic
one.
Stuck. Now,
of course.
Throughout the show, she's got these visions of ancestors. There was the one at the beginning, which was the matriarchal one, who was just a girl boss queen. There was
one. It was like a literal, like, full stickball game.
Yes, that was the beginning of episode 2. And
that was like lacrosse, but not actually.
That one was supposed to be
stickball
strategy. The girl had no strategy at all. She just waved a stick the entire time and somehow got the ball. And yeah, she was like the dude from Beekeeper in the background. Yeah. So
And all the guys, like, this was probably the worst acting of the whole show. The dudes are like trying to tackle her. They're like stop, look at her, let her run by, and then tackle where she just was like 2 seconds ago. Like, it's the worst acting ever of like action, bro.
terrible.
It's so cheesy. There's like a part where like two guys run into each other because they both try to tackle her at the same time. But they're like 3 seconds delayed, so it's like it just looks like they run behind her and like into each other. Like, not that they missed her. It's just like the dumbest. It's the dumbest scene ever, bro. And it goes on for like 10 minutes. It's like a 10-minute intro. Oh my gosh.
So that's another ancestor. And then in the third or fourth episode, it's an old timey talk. What do you call those?
Silent movie.
Yeah. Where basically this girl, she wanted to be. There's these people called light horsemen, who were basically like the police force of the Indian reservation, and she wanted to be one of them. And her dad was one, and he wouldn't let her. And he gave her really good, solid wisdom, where he's like, men are life takers, women are life givers. You don't want to be a life taker. And she's like, well, how can I protect my people if I can't be able to take one? It's like, oh my. And so basically, they're seeing these like weird orbs the entire time. They're all connected, all these different women, and basically she sees this orb, and she just knows that she somehow has this power. We don't know what this power is yet.
Also, there's a woodpecker involved.
Oh, and there's a woodpecker. Every time you see the woodpecker, you know shit's about to go down.
It's like an ancestral woodpecker.
Weird.
You don't know what it means, but whatever.
But when you see it, you know you're about to get ancestral real quick.
Oh crap!
Guys, we gotta get out of here. The woodpecker's outside.
Hold up.
Hi,
Wait a
bud.
minute. Something ain't right.
Yeah. So basically, her dad and the rest of the light horsemen get stuck in this trap, and they get ambushed, and they're in a fight, and they're not doing well. They have the low ground. Obi-Wan didn't teach them. And she comes out of nowhere. She like stands up on this log. She's up there. Clearly could have gotten shot at any moment. But everyone's like, and then her dad's like, and they're all like, and then she kills everybody and saves the day. And it's not just a boom, 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 boom. She goes, and she does like a little weird little thing, and she kills them. And their dad, instead of being like, what are you doing? This is everything I taught you not to do. I told you not to do this. I didn't want you to become this. He goes, yeah. He's like biscuit.
Yeah.
He's like biscuit, like a biscuit's ancestor, clearly. And so she becomes
related to biscuit.
Yeah.
Clearly
So she's like the brave warrior or whatever, right? So and then
mind you, the bad guys that she ambushes are all behind trees, and like she's standing on a log, like clear lane, like sun's
literally
at her back.
Anybody could have taken a shot at
wide
her.
Open, bro. Like this is like you're shooting a penalty. You're shooting a penalty shot in soccer, and there's no goalie. Like, this is how easy this is, bro.
Yeah.
And like they're all behind trees, and like she's like.
It's like when you're at the arcade and you're shooting zombies that are slowly walking towards you.
Yeah, it's like level 1, like the tutorial.
Yeah. Right. It's like the baseball game or cricket. They just kind of leap into her shots.
Right.
It's awful.
Yeah. So, and then the last ancestor was her grandmother when she was giving birth to her mom. The white doctors couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
She was going to die. So her Indian friends took her out to the woods.
They specifically said it's in God's hands now.
Yes, in God's hands with the capital G, God's hands. And they took her out into the woods and did some heebie-jeebie stuff to her. Poured some weird juices all over her stomach. The heavens opened up. Weird. They were all on something, mushrooms,
For sure, dude.
For sure. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Those are all of them.
Yes, sir.
Got those big pipes.
Oh yeah. They were definitely smoking peace pipes out there before delivering that baby. I'll tell you what.
And so her
Oh,
grandmother saw the orb, the giant orb, and somehow something happened. Everybody became glowy, and the child was born. So
Which child
basically,
is this? Sorry, I was saying.
Now, this is
Maya's
Maya's mom.
mother being born. So
Maya's
basically,
mother being born. Okay.
yeah, all of them represented different girl powers, and they all had these weird glowy things where they could heal people.
They're like swirly on their hands.
Swirly hands. I can't
Swirly
explain
hands.
it. I still can't explain what the power is, to be completely honest.
Do you guys know
And-
Pokemon at all?
A little bit.
You know, like Poliwhirl with the
Yep.
belly. Yeah, that
Mhm.
swirl on his belly. That's what they had on their hands.
Nice.
Nice. It's like all the Marvels, the Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel and
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, she uses these powers to get out of the trains, to get her foot out of the train, a bunch of random things. We
So
can
she
talk
didn't need
about.
Biscuit.
She didn't need
Biscuit
Biscuit at all. Biscuit was her escape driver essentially, and he was all
Yeah.
mad because he totaled his grandmother's car, and she was like, she was like slapping the back.
She's like,
Mhm.
yeah, take
like-
that, grandma.
but
Oh,
like
she also
but
hates
like
her grandma, and her
in
grandma
depth,
hates
though.
her.
She spoke in depth, so
Ha ha ha! I don't know how you say
oh,
it.
and that's funny too. The silent film. Every time the girl would shoot, it'd be like bang, like we
Bang!
didn't know.
Oh my gosh.
And randomly in the middle of it, it became like sound. happened.
It
There was
wasn't
sound.
silent anymore.
Yeah, it was so dumb. So there's some other dumb characters. There's of course your classic racist white guy in there, who's a henchman of Fisk. Her cousin at the end becomes brave and says, "Screw you, white people," but in Choctaw, and
Why?
literally that's what it translated to.
What
you
was the
whitey.
reason that whiteys
they were
needed to
all
be put
fist-
in their place?
They're all Fisk's men who are white.
Oh, of course, because only
Yep.
white men can be bad guys.
Right. And so throughout the show, Fisk keeps trying to give Maya an opportunity to come back to her, and she keeps kind of turning him down. And eventually, he turns her down one more time, and he's pissed. They meet up at a casino. They meet up at a casino, and she's like, "Nah." And basically, so he's pissed, and he's gonna basically kill everybody she loves, who's nobody apparently because she doesn't like anybody, except for her cousin, who like
Bonnie.
is the only one who actually cared about her, and she constantly puts her into harm's way. Not Biscuits. This is another a girl.
Her girl cousin that she was really close with.
Yeah,
growing up.
really close with. Constantly puts her in, and at one point they're both kidnapped, and she's trying to protect her, so she punches her in the face to pretend
She goes.
like
She
fighting.
signs, "I'm gonna punch you," and then and then immediately just whack. Like she had no time to process that she was
Yeah.
getting punched, and just full on wails on her.
And guess what? She didn't get protected. She actually got put into gunpoint. So
Yeah.
she got into a worse situation. But a little bit before that, the bad guys, who are idiots, hung her upside down by her legs. Didn't think, oh, maybe we shouldn't hang her by her prosthetic leg. That could fall off. What happens? Her prosthetic leg falls off, and she gets loose. And then they had a second opportunity to tie her up, and they're like, maybe we should take the leg away. Nope. They keep her with the leg that has sharp objects that she can cut her binds with, and then cut her cousin's binds with.
She has
And put her-
a boot knife, like a soul knife, like when you stomp and it kicks out
Oh,
the blade.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And puts her in a room full of sharp tools that she could
Yes.
easily use.
Where she
Stupid.
all of a sudden becomes MacGyver and puts together. They're in the roller rink. She puts together a mechanism with wheels and rubber bands and bearings and a drill that she can shoot things. So
At first, I thought
I
she
mean,
was
she is a
like,
world class.
ate on one leg. I was like,
we're like,
what did
oh,
they
she's
do?
she's
Ate on one leg.
putting a skate on her prosthetic leg for mobility
Yeah.
purposes, right? Nope.
No, no.
I will say, if she is a world class assassin, I'll give her some MacGyver skills. But yes, that seems.
Well, then she considered
Hilarious.
she shot out a tube light bulb in a different room, and it turned out it blew out the whole breaker. Like
Ah,
I study
of
electronics.
course.
That's not how that works. Let me tell you.
Exactly. Yes.
Makes
Just
good
because a
sense,
light bulb
right?
goes out, they're not in series. That's not how
No.
that works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, if it was a string
They
of
aren't.
Christmas lights,
Now you're
That's
onto
Well,
something.
but
Yeah.
I literally
old
wrote,
school
"Oh, it's a
Christmas
dude
lights
boot
though.
knife."
New Christmas lights are in parallel, not series.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah. So she got stabby foot, and she got out. And
we're on episode 4,
so
by the way.
this is
like
episode
four.
3. Yeah. I mean, that's really all that happened. So basically, the end scene, right? Kingpin confronts her. He's got her cousin tied up, and he's ready to fight her. And she gets her special American and Native American powers, which don't know what those are, but basically she gets this really dumb Pocahontas costume, and that's her superhero costume, and all her ancestors come from behind her, and
Oh,
it's
of course.
women power, and they're like strutting
This
forward.
is the end.
So
Yeah, this is
Ray.
episode 5. This is all
Yeah.
at the end.
Let me show you. If you can talk.
Yeah.
Tyler.
So this is episode 5, right? This is the end. Okay. Her grandma makes her a costume, right? She goes to find her grandma, ends up finding the costume just ready to go on a mannequin.
Yeah,
right?
why did grandma
After-
make her a costume? I thought grandma hated her.
She did. They tried to make up or whatever, and grandma was like, yeah, we have got this ancestry line or whatever. And she had like this whole revelation thing that her mom had healing powers. So the woodpecker that I mentioned earlier, Maya actually killed that when she was a kid. She like took a rock and a slingshot, straight up shot
like
the
that's-
woodpecker.
That's what a serial killer does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
She
how
like
it starts.
and then she like carries it to her mom, and she doesn't talk because she's deaf. Apparently that's a thing. So she goes like this, and her mom's like, "Oh, let me take a look at that for you." She
That's
puts
her
it in a
mom.
box. That's her mom. Yep.
That's the original boss lady.
Yep.
With a couple on the side.
That's Maya with her RBF. That's the face she has the entire
That's
show.
the face she makes the entire show.
The entire show.
That's ridiculous.
And then she
Um,
gets glowy hands.
Yeah, go hands. So the woodpecker is like dead, right? It's in a box, okay? And then her mom goes like this. She goes, "Maya, let me show you something." She goes like this. Her hands start glowing. She puts it on the chest of the bird. All right? Then the bird starts going quick, 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 you know? And you're like, "Oh, what? She just revived a dead bird with her fingers?" And then they take the bird out of the box and they throw it, and it flies, and it goes, whoo, and it flies away.
Of course.
So this ancestral woodpecker got killed by Maya, but brought back to life by Maya's mom, right? So now the next part of this revelation, okay, comes to the car accident that Maya was in with her mom, right? And you're like thinking to yourself like, oh, maybe she regrets like that her mom couldn't heal anything, you know, like because she's dead now. I don't know what they were trying to do with that, but like, why are you cutting to this scene? Like, it makes no sense. Like, she just healed a bird, and now you're.
Ironic, isn't it? She could save others from death, but
not herself. Yeah, and so it's like, I don't know what the point of showing that scene next was, but like, yeah. So basically, she's got healing powers with her hands. So she calls all her ancestors, right? The revelation's over. She calls her ancestors back in, and it's Kingpin and her, and they're like head to head, okay? And then she takes her finger, she goes like this, and she pushes it up against Kingpin's chest, right? Now all the memes are coming out. She pushes her hands and her fingers up against Kingpin's chest, and they get like warped into Kingpin's childhood bedroom, right? And you guys know the story of Kingpin?
Oh, it's been a while. You'll have to remind me.
So basically, Kingpin grew up in an abusive home. His father beat him and his mom.
Oh, don't tell me that. I have thoughts where
One
this
time-
is going, and if it's what I think it is, I'm gonna be so pissed.
One time, he caught his dad beating his mom really badly. He took a hammer and just bopped him in the back of the head. While he was dead, pretty much dead already on the ground, he just kept going at him, right? That's like the origin of Kingpin, right?
Yeah.
So they're in Kingpin's bedroom, his childhood bedroom, right?
Which before this, he tried to give this to Maya, to this hammer, and said, "Kill me," and she didn't want to do it. So.
Oh yeah, that was yeah.
Wow.
And so they're in Kingpin's childhood bedroom, right? And on the other side of the wall, you hear Kingpin's dad beating his mom. And like, you know, the wall is like kind of like starting to cave in a little bit because it's supposed to be like he's really pushing her through the wall or whatever. And like Maya's in the room with him and she's like signing to him like, you can let go of the pain and the fear. Like you can let go of this. You can be gone and be rid of it, and like you don't have to hold on to it. Meanwhile, this whole entire show has been about her doing the exact same thing, and she had one scene where she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm good now. I'm gonna let it go. Like I don't need to avenge my dad. I don't need to."
What it was? It was the moment in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania when what's his face? Damn, I already forgot his name. The big head guy.
Yeah.
MODOK.
Yeah, MODOK's like, I don't know what to be. What do I be? And she says, "Don't be a dick." It was a "don't be a dick" moment.
Yeah.
But they realized nobody liked that moment, so it was just do better.
Yeah. So then Kingpin, like they break out of it, like they break out of the revelation, right? He literally looks like a dog with his tail between his legs, runs out of the barn with his goons, crying, getting into his car, and he's like, "What did you do to me?" And he's like throwing a fit, tears streaming down his face.
Why did you
like,
say that name?
Why did you say that? He's like pissed, bro, and he's like crying, and it's like, huh? What? Like, I'm so confused right now.
Maya beat him with feelings.
Yeah,
that's
she beat him with
when I
feelings.
said when I said I see where this is going already, and I'm gonna be pissed if that's where it ended up. Yep.
Yeah. And also part of like her ancestral thing is like she was able to control her cousins and her grandma's hands and bodies. Yeah. Like when they all like glowed, she freed them, and they're all like.
I mean, that was that picture I just showed you. Like that's all of them together.
She didn't control them though. She controlled her cousin and her grandma, like the actual people.
Right. Sorry.
The actual people. Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Their hands started glowing.
So
too.
she has healing powers primarily.
Yeah.
But
like
we don't know.
Magic.
Ray, is that you, Ray?
Yeah. I said, is this another Ray? She never healed anybody. Like she never did. Her mom did, but she never. That was the first time she used her power. Was on Kingpin, and apparently it worked first try. So good for her.
Of course.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in comics, Spider-Man, Kingpin kills Aunt May, and Spider-Man has to put everything he has to kill Kingpin, but with his own hands.
Yep.
And Maya defeats him with
fingers,
sparkle
and
feelings.
American Indian feelings.
That's the other thing I read. I read this on Reddit. They were like, okay, so Kingpin kidnaps all of her family and doesn't kill a single one, like to let her know like this is real. Like that is definitely on par for Kingpin. Like, okay, I'll spare your cousin and your grandma because you love them a little more, but I'm killing your cousin Biscuits. You know, like, like that sounds funny. But like, no, he's beating that dude to a pulp. The only person we saw him beat to a pulp was the ice cream dude who was in the previews and just didn't want to give Maya ice cream because he didn't understand that she was deaf. But the way
what are you, stupid? What do you want, kid?
Yeah, the length that they took that was like beyond.
And of course, she had no emotion. She's like, whatever. I'm just gonna go now.
She didn't even try to explain that she was deaf. She just went,
"Yeah,
ice cream." She didn't say it, but she went.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't understand what you're saying. And she goes, yeah. And then meanwhile, Kingpin's in his car.
White.
Yep. Kingpin was in his car in his white suit, and he's like watching this go down, right? And then she gets in the car and she's like almost crying. I can't really tell because again, same face, even the child. And Kingpin's about to cry. Like he's actually like emotional, like and mad, and he's like, give me a second. And he like gets out of the car. He's like, stay here. Closes it. And then like the ice cream vendor is like strolling down the sidewalk because whatever. Kingpin grabs him by the collar.
My wife and kids.
Throws him in the alley, throws him against the dumpster, and then he just starts wailing on him, like not explaining anything, just wailing on him in his white suit, right? And
which
then,
is normal for Kingpin, but
normal for Kingpin.
True.
And then Maya comes out of the car, and she's like at the end of the alleyway, and she's like, and then she like walks up to the ice cream dude and Kingpin, and then she goes, and she kicks him. She kicks him. She goes,
she kicks the ice cream.
She kicks the ice cream dude while he's down, and that's like her origin story with Kingpin. Like that,
he was so proud of her.
He was so proud of her. So then he like grabs his bloody hand and he like holds her hand, and they walk to their car.
Yeah.
Oh
That
my
is
gosh.
sick. That is disgusting.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah. So,
And, I mean, to be fair, the whole Kingpin part of that is on par. That fits, and like, I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with was the over exaggeration of the white ice cream man, because like that just doesn't happen. I'm sorry.
And it's
I'm
also
sorry.
like if she's the hero of the story, and it's like they're saying that was okay. It's like for an evil villain like Kingpin to do something that makes sense, like you're saying.
Right.
But like for that to be okay for the hero of the story.
Yeah. Am I supposed to cheer that she kicked an ice cream man while his brains were gushing out of his head? Like, is that what I'm supposed to do here? That this child just
like one less white person, so it's
well, and like that's the thing is they assume that white people have no common sense and spatial awareness. Most people know if you're talking with your hands, you're trying to talk in sign language.
Right.
And you can at least say like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Or like,
like
you can do it with your face. And that's the other thing. Like my wife took ASL, and she actually had to stop taking ASL during COVID because of the masks. And in ASL, it is like 50+% of the language to use your face. Like you can do the signs, but like you like your question marks and your exclamation points and your imperatives are all like on how your facial expressions are. And like her being deadpan and like signing, like that's not how that works. And it's I don't understand why you're like this. Like, I'm sorry, Disney, but this is just
why
not.
Are you gay?
This is not right. Like you're trying to like represent something, and that's whatever. Fine, represent something, but you're not even representing it correctly. Like that's the problem here. It's like you're not accurately representing deaf culture.
Well, they never her not being an experienced actress. To Nathan's point is, she's probably focusing on everything else that she's forgetting to control her face. Also,
it was honestly probably lost in translation, where it was like, "Hey, we need you to be angsty."
She didn't know what was going on.
Well, no, it's probably like you need to be like angsty because you're mad, you're angry, you're trying to get revenge. So the whole time she's like, she's got her RBF on. And that's not the fault to the actress. It probably genuinely was a lack of coaching and directing on the team trying to communicate this to her. But also,
wait, we're shocked Disney has bad coaching, acting coaching.
No. But also, it's a diversity hire. Like you're not gonna get meritable acting out of this woman. You know what I mean? You just pulled her off of the Amazon packing line and just to get her on a freaking reservation movie. Like this is ridiculous.
And in and of itself is very racist. So that's the thing. They never get any of the actual representation right. They never they just make it all about that. And the most disappointing part of it was that she did not get any redemption at all for her character. Like I said, she was bad the entire time. You did not like her by the end at all. I wish Kingpin beat her to a pulp, honestly. Like that would have been
talking about. She got magic fingers, Nathan.
No, I know.
That's totally redemption.
Like
she healed him. Now. She healed him.
She hurt so many people. That she was supposedly loved.
Yeah.
That she supposedly loved the people closest to her, and treated them like crap the entire time. Used them over and over and over again, especially her cousin and her uncle. Got him into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
To get back at Kingpin and screw them all over and never apologized once. Never realized that anything she ever did was wrong, or that she should become better. It just was, and So at the very end, Kingpin's on his way back to New York, and this was kind of the confusing part, which Tyler and I talked about it.
Yeah.
He's just like, and it was so spoon fed too. It was so dumb that he was listening to the news and like, yeah,
On his
New
jet.
York
He's on his
really-
jet.
on his jet. New York really needs a mayoral candidate that's willing to take up his hands, be rough and
Get
somebody
down in the
different.
dirt, in the trenches.
Get down in the trenches, someone gritty and hard, and no one's really presenting themselves, and it's just kind of. And he was like, "It's like, are you serious right now? Could you be any more obvious about what you're trying to say? Like, that's the thing. Subcontext people can get. You don't need to explain it to the audience. You don't need to like do something and then explain it later. Yes, yes. But my point is the way they presented it to you. It's like, and that's like everything with Disney now.
Did he make like a hand motion towards himself or something?
No, he looked up at the screen and like stared into the camera. Like, this is my calling.
Broke the fourth wall.
No. But just like
yes. Yeah,
like
I get what you're saying.
So surprised. And yeah, it's just like they do this in all these properties now where it's like you have to explain they think that we, the audience, are stupid and that we can't understand what they're trying to tell us. The problem is their writing is so bad and stupid. It's like it's not even complex. There's nothing to explain. Like, it's so obvious what you're doing.
Yep.
And good storytelling doesn't need to be explained. It should challenge you to think, so that's that kind of moment there. And the confusing part of that, though, is yes, you're correct. He does become mayor in the comics, but Tyler brought up a good point. He was already mayor in the Daredevil show.
I'm pretty sure he became mayor in Daredevil. I'm pretty sure.
It takes place after Daredevil. So what's up with that?
It's been forever since I watched those.
But to be completely honest, I'm sure they didn't watch Daredevil. So none of the people behind this probably never watched Daredevil. So
he at least definitely runs for mayor. It might be that Daredevil keeps him out of it.
I don't remember. I don't know. I didn't.
In which case, it wouldn't make sense for him to have an overly, comedic or however you want to call it reaction, because it's like you've already tried this before.
Reaction.
Right. Yeah. So something's not lining up there with continuity wise of Daredevil and this ending. So
right.
Who knows?
So yeah, that's Echo for you, and it's a waste of time.
Yep.
So don't watch it. Yeah. So since we kind of lost last week's episode, we're gonna go over our most and least anticipated films and shows of 2024, but these are consolidated lists, so these are going to include both movies and shows. So it's just top 5 things we're excited about and top 5 things we are not excited about. So obviously 2023 was probably the worst year for film and television ever. So we get a good idea of what this year is going to probably be like. And especially, from all the strikes going on, they're coming hard this year with all the woke stuff. You already know it. So we'll start with our most anticipated. So coming in at number 5, we have Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, this is one of those things that could probably go either way. I could see this being really bad. It is a Netflix show. Just because One Piece was good does not mean that this is going to be good. And it's pretty highly anticipated just because this is a lot of people consider it to be the best kids show of all time. So yeah, it's definitely going to be anticipated. It's definitely going to get a lot of people watching. That's for sure. All right. Coming in at number 4, we have Arcane season 2. Something we are all personally very excited about. And we did get a little trailer for it, which is just a teaser of what's the character again?
Warwick and Singe.
Yeah. Yes. When he becomes a werewolf.
Basically.
Like yeah.
I mean, in the game, it's a werewolf. Yes, but obviously it's more going to be a human with,
the human side of the werewolf.
Yeah, he's gonna have wolf claws and blah 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 and bestial. I'm sure something in his veins, whatever. But yes,
Bane the werewolf.
basically. Also, I'm reading he was not mayor in Daredevil because he was
okay.
in jail in the first and the third season.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure he does something with
sure
off.
about
Like, are you sure about that?
So this says he bribed, blackmailed, manipulated several agents within the FBI to shift public perceptions in his favor to claim his power as New York's kingpin of crime. That's probably what you're thinking of.
Yeah, I do remember when he becomes mayor in the comics, so I have that recollection, but I don't think I've even really seen the third. I definitely haven't seen the third season of Daredevil. I've seen some of season 2, and I've definitely watched.
It's really good. You should watch it.
Oh, I know.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic. It's actually
It's
good
one of my
Daredevil
favorites.
You don't need to
content.
tell me twice. Yeah. And you need to watch One Piece, Zach. So.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so we were talking Arcane season 2.
Yes, so that's and then coming in at number 3, we got Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim, which is an upcoming animated Lord of the Rings film surrounding it's a kind of a prequel, I think, to the to Rohan, a war of. I don't really know much about it, to be completely honest, but it's Lord of the Rings, and I love Lord of the Rings, and it's animated. So
What's it coming out on again? Amazon, right?
I think it's theaters, but it might just be Amazon. I don't know. I know Amazon's making it, but I think they might put it in theaters.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of hype around that. And then, of course, at number 2, we have Dune Part 2, which is the long-anticipated sequel to Dune. I mean, a movie you have to see in the cinema. It's meant to be an IMAX movie. It's, the movie that I actually kind of respected Timothée Chalamet. I'm like, oh, you're actually kind of a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a very stacked cast. So, yeah, I'm excited. Great soundtrack, great visuals. Everything's huge.
He gets to ride a worm in this one. I'm so excited.
And we get Anthony Hopkins, or not Anthony Hopkins, Christopher Walken as the Emperor. So that's gonna be exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Florence, or what's her name? Florence. Pew. Yeah.
And Zendaya. Don't forget Zendaya.
And Zendaya. Yes. Who was she really? She wasn't really that big in the first movie, right?
She had already done Spider-Man.
Halfway. Oh, you mean just the actress?
No. The character.
Yeah.
Oh,
character,
no, yeah,
I
she
guess
didn't
they
have
came
a
in like
lot.
halfway. She came
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
She'll
I hope
have
they
a much bigger role in part 2. Have you
Right,
read the book, Nathan?
No.
Book's fantastic.
I heard just the first book's good.
So yes, Dune is one of those series where like you're so hyped after the first one, and you're like, all right, let me get to number 2, and you're like, what is this garbage?
Yeah.
It was. I couldn't finish 2. I literally got like 3 chapters in and was like, this is trash.
Yeah.
So, but the first book is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. No, that's what I've heard. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, doesn't Jason Momoa's character come back too eventually
Yes.
in a later? Is it in the second book?
No, it's in the first book.
Oh, so he might be
He'll
in
be
this movie. Then.
Yeah, I think he should be in this movie.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, his character like hides out and
No, he
helps
died.
train.
Yeah,
He comes back as like a ghost though, right?
Oh, maybe that's in later books. I'm thinking not Jason Momoa's character. Who's the other character who trains him?
Thanos.
Yeah, he comes back.
Brolin. Yeah.
He comes back because he goes
he's in the
and
trailer.
he works for the people who took the planet over, who took Arrakis over. And pretends. Well, that's kind of spoilery. He pretends to be against.
I mean, I
Timothée
figured
Chalamet's character, but he's actually not.
that makes sense. Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah. So I'm excited. That's coming out in March. So should be good. And then, of course, number 1, we have House of the Dragon season 2, which is supposed to come out in August, is what they're saying, which might be around the same time as another show on this list, which we will get to. We'll see. We'll see. And yeah, we watched the trailer for that. It looks amazing. I'm so excited to see Damon, more Damon being Damon. And of course, more Aemond being Aemond. They're both the best parts of the show, and they're on polar opposite sides.
I like the dragons.
And the dragons. Yeah.
Really good story arcs, how they start and how they are.
Yeah.
How it started, how it's going.
How it's going. And I'm definitely going to be rewatching that pretty quick here within the next few months. So, and then we do have a few games. Dragon's Dogma 2. We got Arc 2 and Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, which we talked about earlier. So some good games coming out this year. Not a lot, but
so Elden Ring, that's a DLC, you said?
That is a DLC. Yep.
Okay.
And
so you
apparently
get
it's
to
supposed
use
to come out
your same character that you already have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So
I saw a funny video on Twitter, and it was like, I gotta stop skipping cutscenes, and it like
I do that.
It was like a dad putting his daughter to bed, and then completely like he skips after like the dad tucks her in, and then it switches to an Elden Ring boss fight. It's like, how did I get here? Obviously not related, right? But
yeah.
That's funny.
That's funny. Yeah. That's a good skip though, right? All right. Now we got at least anticipated. So coming in at number 5, Rebel Moon Part 2, which I hope all of you watch the first one, which is a really big cringe fest. But honestly,
was the like cinematography
it was a lot of fun.
Good?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Zack Snyder is so good at cinematography, and he's really great at bringing other people's visions to life, but his own writing is just always bad.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can, like 300 and Watchmen were both really great, and he didn't write any of those.
Yeah.
But like his Justice League wasn't great. Rebel Moon, not really great. He's done other stuff. Army of the Dead, I think.
Also not great.
Also not great.
Fine popcorn movie, but yes, not great.
And he shot that. I didn't watch that, but he shot that with the broken lens too, right? So that it looked really whack the entire time.
You're right. It was.
And he actually used the same exact lens for the post-credit scene in his Snyder cut of Justice League, where it's the post-apocalypse scene with Joker.
The Joker, yeah.
Yeah. So
that was such a random scene for that whole movie. I was like, what? What are you doing?
I know.
I do like the Snyder cut better than the original cut, but
League's better, but still not great by any means.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Again, why would I watch a 4-hour movie that I don't really like?
Yeah, I had to drag my wife through that one.
Yeah,
she was ready to give up 2 hours in. I was like, we're only halfway in. Better strap in.
Buckle up.
Dune was another one that she got a little bit more than halfway. It is very expose heavy, and there's so many weird names. She was having trouble keeping track. Obviously, having read the book, I had a little bit of a leg up because I recognized most of the characters. But even Dune, it can be a slog.
That's funny because Rebel Moon is so fast paced, but they don't take any time to explain anything at all. And you're like, by the end, I don't even know who the main character's name is. I don't know any of the characters' names.
Nice. It's got the one dude in it, the blonde
Charlie Hunnam.
dude. Yeah, he's cool. Is he a good character at least?
He's got the worst Irish accent I've ever heard ever in it.
Isn't he like from the UK though?
Yes.
Oh gosh.
It was a choice. It was a choice. And you know what's funny? Because he was in The Gentleman, which is a very Irish mafia movie, and he was Irish, and he was great in that movie. Why not
Have
just
y'all
use
watched
the same accent?
Blinders?
No, but I've heard really, really good things
I love
about it.
Peaky Blinders.
I need to give it another shot. I watched like 3 or 4 episodes, and everyone's like, "You just got to get through season 1. You just got to get through season 1. Like, it's fantastic."
Yeah.
I'm like, I know, but that's like 20 episodes.
And it's not even all of season 1. Honestly, like the last half of season 1 is fantastic.
Yeah. All right. So that's number 5. Number 4, I threw Echo on there. We already know how that went.
It's deserving to be there.
Honestly, at this point, it deserves the number 1 spot. But we got some worse things coming this year, believe it or not. At least I think they will be worse. Most likely. So number 3, we have Madam Web. All you gotta
I
do
did
is
go watch the trailer for that.
Yeah.
And again, I'm like, okay, like I see what you're trying to do with the story, and I'm kind of interested, but also at the same time, it's gonna be a girl power movie, and then obviously
with terrible actors.
What you pointed out about the character assassination of the bad guy, like you take that into account. Yes, it looks like absolute garbage, but I'm like, I'm intrigued by the concept.
Yeah, it's the delivery, and no one's a good actor anymore. At least the up and coming actors are not good, and they're all just very bland. Either that or that trailer is just really bad at showing what the best.
Well, trailers nowadays just show you the movie.
Yeah,
right.
Trailers these days are spoilers.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Or they contain the one thing that you get excited for a character, like Kingpin beating someone to a pulp.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of spider power heroes, Tom Holland, I saw a tweet the other day, him and Zendaya will go back and watch Spider-Man Homecoming like all the time and reminisce about how that movie brought them together. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cute.
They were like reminiscing
Kinda
what
weird,
it was like
though.
to be like 19.
Exactly. And I'm like, dude, you're like 23.
Tom's like, damn, I look good.
It's kind of like when I go back and watch Captain America: The First Avenger, and I think, wow, this is going to be incredible. Brings back the nostalgia.
Yeah.
At least when I go back and watch Iron Man, I'm going back to high school, which is now 15 years ago or more, 16.
Yeah, I mean, I was like 12.
Yeah, I think I must have been 16, 17. No, 17.
Iron Man? Did you say Iron Man?
Yeah.
No, that was 2008, so we were 10.
2008, so we were 10.
So yeah, I was 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched it with Alex Hallberg and Eric Bernstein.
Watched it with my dad.
Nice. We watched it with somebody having a heart attack. And I was like,
true.
Get out of the way. I'm trying to watch the movie.
Hey, sit down.
Can you not do that right now,
it's the
sir?
paramedic with the stretcher. Hey, get that bed out of here.
Get out of here.
We've got recliners.
Wow.
That was back before they had the recliners in the movie theater. That was back when you had to stand in line to get a good seat.
Yeah.
Kids these days, they'll never know.
The dude was like,
oh my
gosh. He just goes, dun. Crashes.
Oh my God, he on X-Games.
I could play much worse, but I won't. So, yes.
The arc reactor powering down.
So I could see Echo and Madam Web switching places, honestly, depending on how Madam Web is. But these next two definitely deserve those 2 spots they were in. So number 2, we got Star Wars, The Acolyte. I mean, if you listen to any of the interviews they talk about, none of them know anything about Star Wars. Even probably on par with Obed Chinoy. But who knows,
Are Sith are just misunderstood?
Yes.
No, they're
Sith
bad.
are just misunderstood.
They're bad. That's their whole thing.
There's no good or evil in Star Wars, Zach.
Right, yeah. No.
Have you not played Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah. I haven't.
Yeah, there's the remake of that where they're trying to make Revan a female character.
Oh, lovely.
Isn't
That
that
might
just
still happen.
Reva?
Yeah, it's Reva.
Reva
Reva.
2.0,
Yeah.
the best villain of all.
So the number one pick might not actually happen this year, but I really hope it does, and I really hope it comes out the same time the House of the
These
Dragons
are
out.
least anticipated, Nate. Least
Yes.
anticipated. You're
But
supposed
I
to
am
not
very,
anticipate these.
very anticipated, and that is
we are
Rings of
anticipating.
Power. Rings of Power season 2,
Oh,
ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
Why are
Did
we
you guys go
clapping?
through? Did you guys go through the fact that Rey Skywalker's movie has been suspended indefinitely?
Yes.
No.
Yes,
Yeah?
I saw that on Twitter
Suspended?
this afternoon.
I thought I
Yeah,
sent it.
they've pushed it back indefinitely.
Well, you know what's funny? They greenlight a lot of things, or they'll say in development, but it's not. That means literally nothing. Like,
Well, yeah. So this one they like
the
lost
Ryan
their
Johnson
writer or director
trilogy.
already.
What?
They like lost their writer or director already.
I don't know about the director. Maybe the
Oh
writer.
no, not the director. Yeah, it was like the writer or something like, or
Yeah.
producer. Like they've literally already lost a key member of the directing production team.
Yeah. But it'll still be in development because Ryan Johnson's trilogy is still in development. Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie is still in development. Kevin Feige's movie is still in development, even though he literally said, "I'm not doing it."
I ain't doing it.
D&D, the guys who made Game of Thrones, their movie is still in development. All these movies are forever going to be in development. Which, speaking of Star Wars, did you guys hear about the Mandalorian?
Yes.
Grogu movie?
Yeah. Yep.
Apparently, it's going to be Mandalorian season 4. The first 6 episodes are going to be on Disney Plus, and then the last 2 are going to be the movie released in theaters. So they're just releasing the episodes in theaters.
That's not a cash grab.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, for sure. They try to get people hooked in, and then you have to finish. You have to find out what happens.
Right.
Meanwhile, they'll just come out on Disney Plus after.
Well, I mean, but that's the problem. They can't write Star Wars movies anymore. It's all this Disney Plus crap that, like Star Wars. Again, Star Wars is a movie. It's a cinema property, and they just can't. It's like somebody said on FNT. It's like, I'll believe you when you actually release a movie finally. Yeah. Like, they haven't released a movie since The Rise of Skywalker. So.
Yep.
And we all know how that went.
Yeah. So yeah, Rings of Power season 2. I hope it comes out, and that'll be the best thing of the year.
I think you just want to watch us suffer and cause that pain. I think that's all.
That show made me so bad. Yeah, a little bit.
They will pour their malice and hate and anger.
Nathan's gonna forge a Ring of Power after watching Rings of Power season 2.
The one show to ruin them all. Yeah, and then we have a couple games that are not going to be great this year. We got Star Wars Outlaws. Who knows? Probably not going to be great. And then, of course, Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League, which will quite literally kill everything DC, everything that people love about DC, and Kevin Conroy's last ever appearance as the voice of Batman. So that's a shame. So there you have it. The 5 most and least anticipated for 2024. We'll see if we're correct. Don't hold us to it. We might be wrong.
Anticipated or
who knows?
Anticipated.
Rings of Power might be great. Doubt it.
Yeah.
But,
You're funny.
Liar!
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's a good one.
We'll see.
Oh, did we want to wrap up by discussing Anakin versus Lord Vader as Star Wars text thread? I do think it's an interesting discussion.
That is an interesting discussion.
I mean, that could go on for a while, maybe. But I think I was the only one that really had.
Well,
again,
Nick didn't really include his opinion.
I didn't.
Yeah.
But
So,
Nick,
let me
you
give the
can
context.
Nick, you can lead us off, or yeah.
Let me give the
Tyler,
Tyler, give
context,
the
and
context,
then Nick
Yeah,
will lead
yeah.
us off. I shared a post in our group chat that I found interesting. And here's what it read. It said, "This scene has been made a meme, and it's the scene of Anakin with his lightsaber going in to kill the younglings." And it says, "But it's probably one of the most heartbreaking parts of how brutal Darth Vader really was. And this was mere hours after committing to the Sith." Then the comment says, "That was Anakin, not Vader." So then I said, was it Anakin or was it Vader? And I sent it in the group chat, and thus some conversation ensued. So what do you think, Nick?
At that point, it's Vader because he was called Vader by Palpatine by that point. And you can just tell the look in his eyes. His eyes change. I mean, well, no, I guess
yellow.
they didn't change. They didn't change yet, but the eyes.
No, they were yellow.
They were.
I think they
at
were
that point?
more. I think so.
They're
I
on
think
their
the
way.
next shot. I think the next shot from that scene is like him looking through his hood.
Yeah.
Right.
With the yellow, I think.
So we can assume they were yellow.
Or that
Either way,
or that
matter.
was like the transition. At the very least, I think that's the transition point between Anakin and Vader.
It is, because I guess Padme does call him Anakin still.
Right, and she pulls him. So my argument. Sorry, you finish yours, Nick, and then I'll
well, no. So, I think he is
It is passion.
He's on the bridge crossing over to Vader, but that act was an act of Vader. I think
that's a good way to put it. Yeah. So my opinion is, Palpatine calls him Lord Vader, not Darth Vader. He's Lord Vader at that point, right? And that's definitely, and like, I do think you kind of have to look at those, like, it's going to sound maybe a little far-fetched out there, but I do think you kind of have to look at those as almost two personalities a little bit. I'm not saying they're two distinct personalities, but it's like he has a very Vader side and he has a very Anakin side. You can even go all the way back to episode 2 where he kills all the sand people, right? Where it's like he always has this dark side to him. So
the women and the children.
That's the thing. Like,
and so like I think he maybe walked into the youngling chamber as Anakin, but I think he definitely left as Vader. Fully.
Sure.
And then yes, Padme kind of brings Anakin back a little bit, and then Obi-Wan speaks up, and that kind of just shuts him down, and then
You're with him.
Progressive.
You're trying to hell against me.
Yeah, and then the fight just kind of brings it all home and solidifies with Darth Vader.
He says,
"Liar!"
Yeah.
And then again in Kenobi, I think Anakin comes to the forefront a little bit again, and then gets put down again until Luke redeems him at the end of Return of the Jedi. Oh, look at that. Actual redemption. Way to wrap a story up, George Lucas.
And I guess that's where I would kind of argue, though, is like, if he's got this split personality, did he redeem Darth Vader or did he redeem Anakin? Because if Anakin was never the problem, then he doesn't need to be redeemed.
I think
that's a good argument.
I would say he redeemed Anakin because Anakin was lost. And Vader was the personality, or he was the personality that then came through, the dark side that came through. But it was Anakin, I think, that was weak. And so I would say maybe you could argue that it was Anakin that was redeemed.
It's actually an interesting
you definitely
story.
could. I would rather have Anakin be redeemed than Darth Vader. But to say like that Anakin didn't do anything wrong and it was just Vader, you have to have something where it's like, okay, he has to be redeemed from something. He can't just be like, I guess, cleansed of Darth Vader. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, so it's like us. We're full of sin, and our sin comes through,
right?
And then we are redeemed.
Right. Yeah. I was about to say you could draw parallels to Christianity where we are. You know, nowadays people just say, "Oh, people are inherently good." No, we're not. People are inherently evil and bad.
Yep. And I think like we see
get
that with
redeemed.
Anakin.
Yeah. And so the acts are sinful acts, but Jesus has covered those, you know, with his sacrifice and were redeemed from those acts, but it doesn't. Now, in his eyes, they're washed away, but obviously, you still have to deal with consequences. But Jesus paid for those consequences, so we don't have to. So,
I would say, like, my point of view would be that Anakin in this scene commits the atrocity, and it pulls him closer to taking on the full entity of Vader. I would see Vader as something he can hide behind to cover what he actually does. It's more of a facade. Like, let me put on the mask, let me put on the suit to cover who I really am.
That's a good point. It's hard to argue with you, Tyler.
At the end, his mask comes off, right? Luke comes off, and you see Anakin. You don't see Darth Vader anymore. So I would argue that Darth Vader is only used as a cover of who Anakin really was, the whole time. And kind of like, you have the obviously nurture versus nature argument with Anakin, and I would say, like, yeah, I think Anakin commits. As Anakin, he's killing the younglings. And I would say, as Anakin, he killed the Sand People. I mean, Anakin tells Padme that he did it, right? I killed the women, the children. I think Anakin does that. But I think it's the more atrocities that he commits, the further it leans into, I need to be something else, so that it's not actually me, it's Darth Vader. And I personally liked Kenobi more than you guys did. And so that fight between Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, I know. The fight between Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, and Anakin is that, this is the ultimate, like, death of Anakin. Like, Darth Vader is fully now put on, and Anakin is no longer the face of this person. It's all Darth Vader. And, that was a slow transition.
Obi-Wan's greatest enemy in that show was that
Reva? It was Reva?
No. It was the freaking gate. He couldn't get past that gate. And it was really hard gate to get past.
Great the show wasn't perfect, okay, but it wasn't. It also wasn't an atrocity like you say it is.
Oh wait, he could have gone around. Oh, sorry. My bad.
It wasn't perfect, okay. I get it.
Yeah.
No, but I think the character is more compelling when it's looked at as he also commits atrocities other than Darth Vader. And that's just my opinion.
I can give you that point.
But I could also say, like, yeah, I guess you could say Darth Vader killed him, because that is the dark entity of Anakin, right? Like, I can see it. I can see both sides. But that's just my feeling is Anakin did.
Let's take away Kenobi, though. Like, let's look at just the movies, the context of the movies. How can you bridge the gap between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, where he's Anakin and Obi-Wan, without him having that moment in the show where he says, Anakin's dead,
Well, when he gets his suit. When he fully puts on Darth Vader at the end of Revenge of the Sith, now he's fully Vader. Like, if you're just taking movies, he's fully Vader at that point. He decides.
Now that I'm thinking about it,
like, he's still Anakin, though, worrying about where his wife is.
I was about to say, there is the moment where he's like, no, and he crushes everything.
But then that's just more compelling for Kenobi, so... No.
Yes, 100%.
Sorry.
So, like,
you say yourself
Darth
up.
Vader, everyone's like, I want a Darth Vader series. And, like, part of me, would love a Darth Vader series, but I do think Darth Vader as a character works when you have less to go on, and you just have to come up.
Like Boba Fett, yeah, I was just gonna say, like
Boba Fett, yeah. I would say I would like. The Adventures of Darth Vader. I would like the Adventures of Darth Vader, of him just like pulling down ships from space, like ripping them apart. Like, I don't want any story.
I don't
just
see warriors. I just see dead men.
I know. I just want to see Darth Vader ripping the universe apart. I don't want a story. I just want him to tear things apart. That's all I want to see.
Dude, the most hype moment in any Disney movie is the end of Rogue One. I'm sorry, like, that is just far and away the most hype moment.
It is a good.
It's cool.
Right.
Yeah. I just love
movie.
If you think about it, there's no air and space. So how is his cape flapping. And it's just he's so dramatic that he
was using the Force.
It's the same way that Leia
and
flew through space.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's Anakin though. That's totally an Anakin.
It is.
That's not a Vader thing. That's an Anakin.
Like
thing.
him turning his life support systems off so that it's all dark. Totally Anakin move.
So
drama
maybe,
queen.
Maybe he doesn't become Vader until even later than Rogue One. So, like, he's still Anakin. So I don't know.
Did you guys see the clips? I saw it on Twitter. So everyone, I'm assuming everyone knows, right, that the voice of Vader is not the actor Vader. It's James Earl Jones, the voice, but the actor is different.
I love that video. That's Scottish.
Dude, the video of the other dude doing Darth Vader's voice is like, oh my gosh, it would have been so trash.
Not intimidating at all. Would have become the worst villain in history.
Yep.
Yeah.
It would actually have been more
George
on par
Lucas
with
is master.
Spaceballs.
Yeah.
A what if episode.
What if James Earl Jones didn't voice Darth Vader?
Oh man.
Right.
Yeah, did you guys hear that they announced a potential what if series for Star Wars? That they legit are thinking about doing a what if series based on Star Wars.
I guess
they
I did
already
hear that,
are.
yeah.
They're already doing that with Rey freaking Skywalker.
Well, yeah. And Jake
The whole
Skywalker.
sequel series. That's an alternative universe.
Yeah, that's a what if situation.
The
right
real
there.
canon. The real canon is the extended universe, not Legends. That's Disney's name for it. The extended universe.
Yep.
That's the real canon.
With Mara Skywalker.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I read those books. Those books were great.
Yeah.
I remember the young
There's a
adult
lot of
books. Yeah.
I want to see some Old Republic stuff
Yeah.
Not by Disney.
on the big screen though. No, not by Disney.
Just listen to the audiobooks. They're good. They have like sound effects and everything. They're awesome.
I think I bought the Thrawn one, the first of the Thrawn series.
Yeah. Yep.
So
So yeah,
The
that
original
was
one, not the Disney one.
that was a little query
Heir to
question
the
I
Empire.
had for
yes,
the group.
Heir to the Empire.
That's a
Yeah,
little,
that was
little
fun.
Good one.
trivia
That's a good debate.
that I found. So that was fun
Mhm.
to kind of talk that through. But
Yeah.
we got
Awesome.
anything else?
No, that's about it.
That is all. That is
Alright.
all. So success. We're back. Yeah,
We
baby.
recorded this week.
Yeah,
baby.
baby. Yeah, baby.
As Austin Powers would say. Yeah, baby. I love that moment. I think it's in the first one. He's like, wait a minute, I got an idea. And then he goes around and punches that lady, and it turns out to be a man. And it's like every Star Wars or Marvel character that you want to do to them. Yeah. Subscribe on YouTube and also join our Discord.
That's where you get info
we're-
on Sea of Thieves.
That's right, where you can play Sea of Thieves with us and other fun, exciting things that will be developed throughout the year. So, yeah, go check out our Discord, and here's the link tree. It's also in the description of the video. And go follow us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. We're going to hopefully post more stuff on there. We're getting our act together. You know, we're actually improving stuff. We're actually doing a lot more than we were doing last year. So it's just all behind the scenes. So, and we got a lot of gaming content coming very soon. Liza P, Fall Guys, Sea of Thieves, Remnant 2, more streams coming there.
Maybe an Arc stream.
Arc. We'll be doing Shadow of the Erd Tree when that comes out. And then of course Baldur's Gate 3 eventually. So yeah, look out for all that stuff. And thank you so much for everybody in the chat tonight. And we will catch you guys again. If you didn't know, every Tuesday, 7:30 Central, around there. So yeah, we will see you guys next week.
Okay.
Peace.
Peace.